It's yet another episode of the Red Leaf Wrestlecast. It's episode 17. I'm your host, JD. And coming out with this outright, this was supposed to be myself, Rad, and a special guest, Robert, from the Loudmouth Wrestling Podcast. And some technical difficulties and things came up with for Rad, who couldn't make it, and then Robert had to bounce out halfway due to some personal issues that cropped up last minute. So Robert and I were supposed to record Lucha Underground, some All Japan Noah, Ring of Honor, New Japan. All we got to was the single recording of Noah, All Japan, and Ring of Honor. So if it sounds a little bit out of place, I'll just reintroduce it when we get there. But right now, for the main part of the cast, I am joined by a familiar voice. If you're a fan of the cast, you've heard him many times over. It's Jay from the Smack It Down podcast. How you doing, my buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
It's been a long week. Lots of crazy wrestling been going on, especially in WWE right now.
Yeah, it's bloody crazy over the last 2 days.
The last 2 days, the last couple weeks, the last month, it's been a clusterfuck of WCW 2000-esque type stuff with a hint of PG thrown in there.
Well, dude, the last 2 days, though, specifically, I gave up on WWE. Well, I haven't given up completely, but I've reformatted my podcast to do 2008 stuff now. But oh man, this week has been something to talk about.
It is worth talking about, and the way, let's see here, I'll just run down the agenda that we got in front of us here. We got a little intro, I got a little good topic we're going to talk about, so we don't forget it. The Wrestler Spotlight is over Scott Hall. Maybe you've heard of the bad guy.
I've heard of Razor Ramon.
Yep.
I don't know who that Scott Hall guy is.
Our indie stuff is going to cover a lot of foreshadowing, basically, with and some women's wrestling that's been happening. We got WXW Road to Broken Rules. I got a special little, even more minor indie than I usually cover. Lucha Underground finished. Progress Chapter 77, which you watched, Jay.
Which one was that?
Pumpkin Spice Progress.
You're right, I did watch most of that, if not all of it.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Little All Japan Noah talk with Robert and Ring of Honor Survival of the Fittest. We went over that. We had a lot to say about the state of Ring of Honor going into Final Battle. Me and Jay, then we'll...
I was going to say, I'm very curious to see what they're doing with Daniels going into Final Battle.
Yes, and Cody Rhodes with his recent injury. When we pre-recorded Ring of Honor, Cody Rhodes wasn't injured yet, and we weren't aware of that he was set for the title match at Final Battle. So, little disclosure there when you do listen to us discuss it. The Ring of Honor title against Jay Lethal.
I thought that Marty had that.
Marty won Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah, which gives him a title match at Final Battle.
No. It just gives him a future title match. The scheduled title match was Jay Lethal against Cody Rhodes.
Huh.
Yeah. So then that will bring us back to our buddy Jay here, and we'll be talking Power Struggle from New Japan. So it happened a few weeks ago. Maybe a little New Japan outlook for Tag League. We'll get there. We got a lot of WWE to discuss, just in pure topics, and with the upcoming War Games takeover for NXT and Survivor Series.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. And naturally, we finish out the cast with an episode of WCW Thunder, which we'll be doing episode 11. So, let's get right into the first topic. What do you say, Jay?
Okay.
All right. So, Crown Jewel was comically terrible, wouldn't you say?
I would.
Okay. Well, apparently Brock Lesnar won the title, squashing Strowman. So Strowman yet again not winning the big one. So I think that's I think it's safe to say this is as far as he's getting.
Oh well, yeah, you pretty much covered everything there, man.
Okay. So Yeah, there's been some rumors about some heat he's got going on backstage. He's the last one to show up, first one to leave kind of thing. He's been limping on TV lately, so possibly his knees are giving him a lot of trouble. Who knows what's going on? Shane McMahon's now the best in the world. He won the American World Cup that he wasn't even in. DX and Taker and Kane proved that they all should retire, reaching Hogan Warrior WCW levels of bad, and Triple H tore his titty muscle. But the topic I wanted to go into it isn't so much what happened at Crown Jewel. It's how does this event compare? How does Saudi Arabia compare to when WCW and New Japan went to North Korea? It's now known as Collision in Korea. How familiar are you with this thing?
I haven't seen any of it.
Well, since it was a New Japan event, that's one common mistake that a lot of people get. They assume it's a WCW event. It was a New Japan event that Inoki put on. And New Japan had a kind of a joint deal struck with WCW, and Inoki talked to Bischoff, and Bischoff got a bunch of WCW wrestlers thinking it would be just a good idea to get like crazy publicity, while Inoki did it as a way to help relations between Japan and North Korea and to increase his political position, because he was in the midst of like a lot of scandals. I believe, top of my head, if memory serves, it was like embezzling money and that type of stuff. So good old fashioned politician type stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. What is your after hearing that's what Inoki did it for, and WCW just kind of went over kind of an in over their heads kind of situation, didn't know anything about North Korea. It was the early 90s, a very different era of the world. How do you think that compares to the Saudi Arabia thing with WWE?
Well, it sounds very familiar, except for the fact that WWE know exactly what Saudi Arabia's done.
That is one thing, yes. That's a major thing, actually. But does negligence on WCW excuse them for what they did?
Well, they weren't like doing it as a, hey, this is a great holiday destination, were they?
No. It was just kind of go over and put on a wrestling event kind of deal.
That's no problem then. Like, if they're just going to put on a wrestling event, that's fine. It's New Japan that's kind of in the hot water there.
Well, that was kind of Inoki. Inoki was this just mental dude when it came to what he uses wrestling for. Like, prior to this North Korea event, he went over to Iraq and did like a wrestling event and he did that to help free a bunch of Japanese prisoners of war.
That's very strange.
Oh yeah, like there's a whole like Inoki's autobiography is absolutely insane, full of just wild stuff like that. So this new, like, North Korea was just kind of a drop in the bucket for how crazy the dude is. I mean, he almost ruined New Japan by changing it over to like this hybrid MMA style wrestling promotion.
Yeah, he did. Shinsuke Nakamura's got a great record.
Yeah, he basically ruined Nagata's career, or a good chunk of it.
Almost ruined Tanahashi.
Almost necked Tanahashi real bad. Severe brain injuries on top of it. Yeah, Inoki is not a good person. He's not a bad person, but he's definitely he definitely toes the line more towards the bad for a lot of things. And this North Korea event was
not a bad person. He's the person.
He's the person, yeah. So the my opinion on this is it was a different time, negligence, and it was mostly an Inoki thing, and he had very much a lot of control because he was basically, I think, like the equivalent of a senator in Japan. So he had a lot of pull. So I mostly associate this with a dirty politician rather than, say, Vince McMahon going to Saudi Arabia for strictly money reasons.
Monetary gain.
Just straight monetary gain. He lives in his own world. He doesn't care what happens. He just wants money, and he's going to do whatever he can to get it. He doesn't care. Like, what is this journalist, getting chopped up to bits have anything to do with his wrestling event? That's how he sees it.
But compared to like the whole issue, like WWE, they're just a drop in the bucket behind bunch of this crap that keeps going on over there.
It's very minor, but the difference I think that WWE faces is there's a lot of influence WWE has on this worldwide scale now. Like, you say wrestling, you think WWE, and they're a major public trading company at this point. Like, they can't do this. It's not a privately owned thing.
Do you own any WWE?
Do I own any stock? No.
Well then, man, you don't get to go to like the stock callers and all that crap.
Well, that's why their stock plummeted quite a bit, is because of the thing involving Saudi Arabia and a lot of subscriber base going down, inflation of the stock. Arabia. Oh yeah, there's a lot of financial reasons for this. So is it much different than Inoki going to North Korea? No and yes. There's an interesting line to tote there. I mean, that we could definitely talk about it for an entire cast, comparing, contrasting the two. So my personal belief is, after going over the facts here, my personal belief is Inoki went over for his political gain, and WCW was at fault for negligence. I mean, there's so many reports of like a couple wrestlers getting almost like murdered over there, and I think it was Scott Norton like talked on the phone and to his wife, and he said the place was basically a shithole, and then he was immediately like taken into an alleyway by the like the Gestapo version in North Korea. So things like that. And then this WWE situation is, they know, like you said, Jay, they know so much about Saudi Arabia, what they're about, what the king's about, and they're I don't remember anything in the Collision in the Korea event where they're putting public propaganda on a worldwide TV base, because that's what we saw with WWE.
We did. Just out of curiosity, what was the main event
for Collision in Korea?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Inoki versus Ric Flair.
Fair enough.
And it was really good, even though both were kind of past their prime, but it was still very good. Two of the best that have ever lived.
Pre or post airplane crash for Flair?
Post.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right. Because that was the thing that messed up his back, I believe.
Indeed.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and we'll get to a little bit more of the Saudi Arabia thing later as we discuss what's happening in WWE currently. So I won't let this go. I will not be someone that'll take what's going on in the wrestling world of WWE with what they're doing business-wise, because it's very, very shady. Collision in Korea was a one-time thing. It wasn't a 10-year deal. That's another huge difference for me.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of money though, so like, let's be honest here, dude. If you had asked to record a live podcast there, and you probably had your own security detail, and you were getting paid like upwards of $10 million, or whatever they're getting, I'm sure you would do it too.
I'm just one person, though. I don't own a public... I'm not a public figure and role models to hundreds and thousands of children around the world.
That is true. But you probably have a role model for like 3 or 4.
Well, those 3 and 4... Well, like, I'd sell out for 3 or 4 kids.
Yes,
I'm not above that.
Give me my money.
Oh, man. All right. Do you have any other opinions over like Crown Jewel and whatnot?
I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I didn't watch any highlights from it besides Shawn Michaels almost killing himself in a moonsault.
I did see that Twitter clip. I didn't see any of it either. I just saw Twitter. Like I was watching Progress Chapter 77 because that came out the same day and same time Crown Jewel did. So I just went, I know what I'm doing.
I woke up that morning. I'm like, oh yeah, Crown Jewel was on. Go to Wikipedia. That's a weird card. All right, I'm done.
Well, it's funny, as I was watching the Progress event while Crown Jewel was happening, and I just had Twitter next to me on the screen next to me, and like everything that was happening to the event, just seeing people that are watching the event react to it over Twitter was absolutely hilarious. When Shane won, Like, the thing broke.
Yeah,
I just kind of looked over and I go, what?
Yeah, well, Progress is just so much better, though, so I understand why you're watching Progress.
Oh, absolutely. I watched a lot of indie wrestling that day. All right.
So far I'm spoiler-free for Chapter 79, 78, 78? Whatever the new one is comes out.
I'm spoiler-free as well. It's very easy to avoid spoilers for indie shows.
You say that, but Progress after a couple of days, they're like, oh, this person won this person won this. Like, thanks, mate.
Well, don't follow Progress, then.
Well, I need to follow Progress, find out when the freaking show's up.
I just gradually check it once a day. That's all I do.
Yeah, you can just tell me when it's up.
Yeah, okay. All right, then. I'm going to play a sick drop. We're going to get to talking about the bad guy.
Mm.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Okay. So, how familiar are you with Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon?
Well, I know he is one of the best Intercontinental Champions of all time.
Yeah, he's up there.
I know that he was involved in the curtain call.
He was. And what was the curtain call, Jay?
It was in MSG, if I'm not mistaken. And
Madison Square Garden, yes.
It was him, Nash or Diesel, whatever you want to call him, Shawn, and Triple H, who at the time, most of those were in a feud with other people in that group, also known as the Clique.
Yep.
Pretty much just hugging it out on Nash's and Hall's last day in the company, and it got photos taken of it, and then he got put on Triple H, and he lost his King of the Ring win that year to Stone Cold Steve Austin, all because of the hug, and they couldn't punish Shawn because he was Dubs champion.
Mm-hmm.
Does that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. It's also known as the day kayfabe died, which, yeah.
I know he's been put in 2 really good ladder matches in Dubs. Surprised he never won the WCW title. Just throwing that out there.
The WCW title is definitely an interesting thing, why he never won. The WWF title, I understand because of what WWF was about and what they're like, who they would push, and to me, Razor Ramon just wasn't that guy in the company.
Yeah, he was perfect for an IC title.
Yes, and that's why the IC title was is still to this day my favorite title. But now it's shifting towards the New Japan IC title.
Dude, I'm just a sucker for an IC title. Like, I've got a kid's replica IC title.
I still have my brown Velcro version I had when I was a kid.
Is it the egg title, or is it the old current one?
Old current one, but a brown strap.
You know, I don't understand, like, why they got rid of the egg title. Like, I get it, like, it's time for an upgrade, blah, 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 blah. But, like, the US title's the same one they had back in, like, 2001 or 2002, 2003, whenever it was introduced.
Mm-hmm.
That needs an upgrade more than the egg title did. I liked the egg design.
Yeah. So what we do in this wrestler spotlight is we pick a wrestler, and then we pick 2 matches to discuss from the guy. So you have a little backstory on Razor Ramon, and then when he went to WCW, he was part of the Outsiders. It's a little tag team with Kevin Nash, and more famously, he was part of 2 major kind of kayfabe events there, story events, and that was the formation of the NWO with Hulk Hogan's infamous heel turn, and then the dissolution of the NWO via the NWO Wolfpack, where it was the black and red.
Sting was in that.
He was in that. It was kind of, they tried to replicate the NWO formation with kind of the Wolfpack formation with Sting. You know, great grand babyface turning heel type situation, but the Wolfpack wasn't really seen as heels. They were seen as the tweener group of the one. Think of the Elite with the current Bullet Club situation. Yeah, there's a lot of parallels.
Are more over as faces than that they are over heels, but I know what you mean by, like, the separation of groups.
Yeah. So the first match is Razor Ramon versus Bret Hart. Naturally, of course, it was the WWF King of the Ring tournament, which took place in 1993. So very early on in kind of both guys' careers for singles runs.
Mm-hmm.
And so the music hits, crowd screaming 1, 2, 3 at Razor. So this is coming right off the heels of the 1, 2, 3 kid, the tiny little small guy, rolling up Razor Ramon.
You meant Six Pack?
X-Pac.
Whatever.
Yeah, but he was known as the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Yeah, but it's all the same guy.
Yeah, all the same guy. So commentary really emphasizing the 15-minute time limit in the match, which is something I really miss in Western wrestling in general, because they do it in Japan constantly.
Yeah.
You know?
Time limit presents, sorry, goddammit, wording. Yeah, the time limit, it helps because, like, you're not going to get over, like, the runtime of whatever the show is. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps you control time. It helps add certain finishes to matches, for story purposes. It adds an element of rushing, like we saw in the G1 with Okada and Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm.
When they went to their time limit draw. So it was pretty cool. And so commentary was also emphasizing the fact that both wrestlers need to end the match early due to needing to wrestle a possible 3 matches on the night at King of the Ring. And I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have watched Crown Jewel in that little World Cup, I can already hear them not doing that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, the style and urgency in the ring. That because both guys were trying to hit their moves early and fast and hard.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of elements we're seeing here on commentary and ring style, but I think the way it was paced out is a testament to both wrestlers in the ring.
Fair enough. Who was your commentary team?
In WWF 93, it was probably like Jesse Ventura and... Was it Jim Ross
Jesse
yet?
Ventura.
I don't think it was. No, Jim Ross was still WCW at the time, I believe. I don't know. I didn't write the commentary names down. So flow, moveset, ring psychology, just really good from both guys. Razor Ramon doing like the big power moves on the back. Bret Hart working the limbs like he did. It's a very simple match, but very crisp. So you can kind of picture it. Think of Zack Sabre Jr. against Sonata. No, Sonata's not big enough.
Sonata's also
too technical. Well, his charisma's in his moveset, which is very unique. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I guess so. Sonata doesn't
Zack
really
Sabre Jr. against a bigger powerhouse. I'm trying to think.
Volta.
For the sake of moving it along.
Cobb.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff Cobb's suplexes, but yeah, it's the same realm of idea. So Razor did so well. Having Hart as opponent just never hurts for a match. So this match is one of the better Razor Ramon matches you'll ever see, especially at this point in his career when he was still trying to find his character, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff. What kind of Razor Ramon matches have you seen, if any?
I've seen the ladder matches and a couple...
The Shawn Michaels ladder matches?
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't watching WWE or anything back in those days. I was like 2 or 3.
Yeah, but like you said, you've gone back and watched a couple or 2 or 3.
Yeah, I've gone back and watched a few. Like most of them, though, have just been like the ladder matches with Shawn. Like I said, I wasn't watching wrestling at that time, and I saw the Sting match with him at WCW. I've got to go back and watch more earlier wrestling. That's my problem.
Well, I mean, if the more you come on this cast, the more fun you'll have with something like that. All right. Well, speaking of ladder matches, the second match is Scott Hall, so we're in WCW now, against Bam Bam Bigelow, and it was a ladder match. Okay. On WCW Nitro in early 1999.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did Bam Bam do a moonsault off the top of the ladder?
I think you're thinking of Vader.
Didn't Bam Bam do moonsaults? That was Vader. Yeah, you're right. My bad. My bad.
You're thinking of Vader. No, Bam Bam Bigelow had kind of the fire attire onesie going on, and he had the tattoo head.
Yeah. Yeah, my bad.
And he bounced around companies: WWF, WCW, ECW. So in the sense, yeah, he was a lot like Vader.
You ever seen the Taz versus Bam Bam match at I think it's WrestlePalooza '97?
See, that's ECW, a promotion I'd never really got into.
Dude, there's a freaking suplex spot where like they go through the stage and it looks awesome. Because like that was back when Taz was like a little like muscly son of a bitch.
Was he like, Tasmaniac still?
I don't remember, but yeah, it's
Probably.
either 95, 96, 97 WrestlePalooza, and like he freaking suplexes him through the stage. And then
you sure like your hardcore matches.
Oh, dude, freaking old school ECW like is a lot of fun. Like I was listening to a podcast at the time. I'm not going to mention that name on here, but like they were covering pretty much all of ECW's pay-per-views, and there were certain things that I was like, "Wait, are you freaking serious?" And like you listen to it, and then you're like, "I'm going to watch that," and you're like, "Holy crap, they actually did that."
Well, this match here is a good example of how hot the NWO Wolfpack was at the time. So this is when the Wolfpack had been formed. Disco Inferno is with Scott Hall, so who gives a shit kind of thing. That's what was going through my head. Oh, I hated Disco Inferno. He was just such a waste of space.
He's
always
a piece
on
of
my
trash.
TV.
Like he's still a piece of trash.
Okay. And this is great. This is getting to the start of peak WCW 2000. I mean, it's 1999, so obviously, but the prize for the ladder match was a taser suspended above the ring.
It's like a taser on a pole match, but it's on a ladder.
Right, it's hanging above the ring, and you have to get the ladder. You have to use a ladder to get it, and the stipulation was you have to not only grab the taser, but you have to hit your opponent with the taser to win.
So it's essentially a taser above the ring match. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh god.
So is this pre or post New Blood Rising?
I just wrote early 99 on my notes. I don't remember.
Was New Blood Rising 2000 though? Or was it 99?
It sounds like 2000.
Because that's when like things start to go even further downhill.
Oh, like the triple cage match?
Yeah, that's after for a bit. When friggin' who was it? I've forgotten his name. The actor dude where he turns heel.
David
Like,
Arquette.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he turns heel on freaking on Diamond Dallas Page.
Aw. I like David Arquette now. I just watched a Rise women's wrestling event. It's the same one with the Tessa Blanchard Mercedes Martinez Iron Woman match. He shows up there and he's a manager for an intergender match that happened.
Fair enough. Now, actually, would you like to hear something very interesting about that the triple cage thing?
Sure.
So it's in the same arena that the Owen Hart incident happened. We'll leave it at that. There's a point at the end of that match where Mike Awesome and Canyon are on top of the cage for whatever reason, and Mike Awesome just throws Canyon off.
Of course he does. Reasons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that was peak Ready to Rumble type stuff. All right, so the tasers. Back to the taser match, the taser ladder match. This is a good. Now, stipulation aside, the match was actually quite good, like very good.
Yeah, Bam Bam's pretty good.
Bam Bam's good with his little ECW style, and Scott Hall is. There's just something about him in a ladder match that goes so well together. He was so smooth and well paced in matches like this. Be it taking punishment or dishing out, he always made the guy look so much better, and then would just hit his key moves or the bigger power moves when needed. And up against a bigger guy, I was very curious how this ladder match would go, considering, as you mentioned earlier, the Shawn Michaels matches with the ladders. So the ladder wasn't just a weapon; it was seemingly part of the match itself. So that's something that we see too much today. Is they're every time you see a ladder match today, you end up seeing like 6 in the ring, or ladders are just flying around and people are jumping off them thousandfold. No, this was one match or one ladder, and they used that ladder for as many possible things that they could, whether it's use it as a weapon. At one point, Scott Hall was on the middle rope, and he kind of teeters. He pulls the ladder towards him, and then he teeters it and falls with the ladder onto Bigelow in the middle of the ring. Just a nice, simple move, you know?
Back then, that would have been, like, crazy.
Well, I popped for it now. I was like, oh, shit, that was awesome.
I think it's like 2-3 years later, we're getting the friggin' TLC matches.
Yeah, Attitude Era. Yeah. So, Bam Bam ends up getting the taser, and then Disco Inferno was thrown out earlier in the match. He just comes back because reasons, and he just hands Scott Hall a taser of his own. So then there's a mini standoff where they're both looking at each other with a taser, and then Goldberg just comes out and spears them both.
And then what, the match is called off, or?
Yeah, the match is just thrown out.
It's got no DQ.
So
'90s.
But here's the difference. The crowd went totally apeshit for all this. They're chanting Goldberg. They're just popping hard for everything. The crowd loves it. So this is an example of this shit of the bullshit working with something we're seeing today, and you're just kind of to it all.
So, follow-up question.
Okay.
Where was the streak for Goldberg during this?
It was ended before this
So
at Starrcade. I think this Nitro took place shortly after Sold Out.
Gotcha.
So this took place after Starrcade, which is the taser streak incident, which is why the taser was above the ring. So they were full-on taser crazy.
Okay.
So usually Scott Hall gets a bag for he gets a bad rap for a number of things. Will it be it being a part of the clique, being crazy, having a lot of that backstage pull. To me, he was always kind of the lesser evil of the group, because it was always Triple H, Kevin Nash, and Shawn Michaels, while Scott Hall was just buds with them. He was just kind of there for the ride.
Well, Trips at that stage was still kind of new to WWF.
Yes, and as soon as they left, he, slowly got hot-shotted further and further up, being buddies with Shawn Michaels and dating Stephanie, and
I like the color chip, pal.
History kind of speaks for itself there.
You're parking my daughter, pal. That was still really bad.
But WCW Scott Hall, I'm not sure why he never won the title there. Because he was definitely a draw. He had the charisma. He cut the promos.
He won World War III, so he had a title match against Sting. I'm sure he's had more than one.
And he lost in 12 minutes. So
that was clean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they never got behind him. It has to be, it's definitely a case, it has to be of, management didn't think he could draw, which is very possible.
Maybe it was alcohol and drugs abuse at this stage.
Well, I've seen read interviews of Scott Hall, and his, he always showed up to work professionally, but once the, ring lights would go out and the stage was gone, he was full on, whatever those muscle relaxing pills were in the 90s.
Like Somas? I think that was Somas.
Somas, yes, thank you. And lots of drinking. But that was pretty much everybody, to be fair. Kind of like steroids in the late 80s.
Steroids today, look at gender. And
well,
Park.
Yeah.
Dude, Park. He's claiming that has got nothing to do with steroids, dude.
Who? Oh,
Park.
Pac?
Pac, whatever.
Well, he lost the body mass. He's now just lean. So I think that's all that happened, because he doesn't need the look bigger because he's not in WWE anymore. That's my theory.
He's got no stomach. He's like a freaking twig. He needs to eat a carb. Him and Finn need to eat bread or something.
Well, I mean, he's a smaller guy. That's the other thing. You can't mistake that for... Because he's probably got no... Like, look at UFC guys that are, in the 5'7" to 5'9", 10 range. They're like 125 pounds, no water weight.
Dude,
it's not out of the realm.
That's why he went with that, though. Gets my muscular arse.
Yeah.
So good.
So,
he's
Scott Hall.
Soon. That should be fun.
Yeah, that's your indie promotion.
Dude, Defiant's fun. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah. Defiant's awesome.
So I look forward to seeing Scott Hall as we talk more about WCW on this podcast, and guarantee we'll get to more Scott Hall. He'll definitely be a revisit spotlight down the line for sure. Talking more in depth about him.
For sure.
So, with that, it's time to get to the indie scene. And what better drop than playing my good buddy Bobby Guns and his Eurobeat mix.
I mean, it's no cousin in Ireland, but...
Okay. So before we start the indies, I have an announcement for the podcast. Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ongoing contest that you can enter. And if you leave us a review at iTunes or Stitcher, take a screenshot of that sucker and send it to @BowlingJD or use the hashtag RedleafRetrocast, you'll be entered in our contest. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Redleaf Retrocast. Screenshot, send it to @BowlingJD on Twitter. And last but not least, follow us on Podbean. Same deal. You'll be entered, and you'll be randomly chosen at the end of November. You could be one of those lucky winners, and the winner will get to decide a future podcast episode. If you're a retro gaming fan of the Red Leaf Retrocast, you get to choose a theme and a couple games to go along with that theme, as we do. Or if you're an anime fan, get to choose an anime for us to review on the cast. If you're a wrestling fan, a wrestler spotlight of your choosing. Naturally, all this will come with if you have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, whatever you have, or you just want to shout out other podcasts you like, we'll shout those out just for you with your name and all the recognition for all the podcasts we release for that month. So there you go. Should be fun. We've already got a bunch of entries, and I can't wait to draw the winner at the end of November.
What do you hope that whoever wins picks, just out of curiosity? Like, do you not really care what you end up covering?
I do not care what I end up covering.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so first on the docket for the indies is I spoke previously about Body Slam Wrestling. That's an indie promotion out of Denmark about their champ Michael Finn.
Never heard of him.
Well, he wears 3 sunglasses, a fur coat, and he raps in English to a Danish crowd.
Never
and
mind.
He's like 23. Yeah, I went nuts for him. I watched all of his major title matches of 2018. He's a charismatic guy. Little green in the ring still, but there's a reason why he's been champion for like over a year in that promotion.
Well, dude, anyone that wears 3 pairs of sunglasses, like, they ooze charisma.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, he's really he's pretty tall and lean too to go with it. Cuts a mean promo. He's a heel to an extent. The crowd likes his heelish antics, but yet they boo him for all the kind of bullshit he does. But anyways, this time I have watched a lot of these matches since they went up on WXW, since they have now the interpromotional kind of thing going on in their streaming service, and now they're with White Wolf Wrestling. It's an indie promotion out of Spain, and from like the later half of 2017 and early 2018, I watched basically the last 2 events. This was back in early October, and I just got to the last couple this time around, and one match really stuck out to me. And that was Zack Sabre Jr. taking on White Wolf Wrestling's champion. His name is A-Kid. A-Kid. Okay?
When was this?
So this match took place back in April.
So this year, huh?
Yes. This year.
Okay.
And holy shit, match of the year candidate. It is that good. And it's actually, I checked this up on White Wolf Wrestling's website. It's free on YouTube, actually. So anybody can just go watch it.
Really?
I just happened to I was going through all the indie promotions that WXW just got, because they're really, really, really indie promotions, you know? And they're all European. Whether it's the smaller UK ones, the Danish one, another really small German one, and in this one, in Spain. Well,
do they have English commentary, or?
No. No commentary, memory serves at all. It's super indie. But the match is so engrossing, because Zack Sabre Jr. and this A-Kid, he's smaller than Sabre in every way, except maybe his ab muscles are bigger, kind of thing, and his chest is more defined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sabre's kind of a bit tall and lanky, but he's very lean muscular, you might say. Not like Pac, but you get the idea. Well,
Yeah.
A-Kid is just kind of an average-looking dude who works out. And he has tremendous technical skills. You know, I went into it knowing almost nothing about A-Kid. And after watching like a few matches, I was like, okay, he's a bit of a high flyer and everything. Well, this match with Zack Sabre Jr., you remember the Zack Sabre Jr. Sonata match from the G1? How like crazy technical that was?
I think I do. That was a few months ago, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can kind of picture it in your head.
Yeah.
This match just beats the shit out of it, throws it out of the water, and spits on it. Like, A-Kid matched Zack Sabre Jr. move for move on a technical basis. Zack goes for the pretzel-type moves, wasn't able to quite lock him in, and A-Kid was just reversing and putting him in, just made the technical moves of a headlock and switching between head and legs look so smooth. Like, I don't know how I hadn't heard of this guy until this year.
Well,
He's seemingly coming out of nowhere.
Works for his little indie promotion, dude.
And he's from Spain.
That's also possible.
Yeah. So it kept switching between, and the other thing is the match went on for like 20 minutes, and it goes technical moves, little back and forth heat exchange, then they slap each other really hard across the chest, goes back to technical moves, then they slap each other in the face, back and forth, right until the finish, where they just start like kicking each other real hard in the face, and finally A-Kid super kicks Sabre on the ground, like when he's on his knees, and then it just pins him over. And I checked, I put a feeler out on Twitter, I'm like, is that his finisher? Because I've seen him like pull out a few different things, and no, it's really just kind of this frog splash type thing that he does. That's his finisher, but Sabre kicked out of that in the match, so I was like, oh, I guess that's not his finisher, and it's the super kick. But nope, crazy good match of the year candidate, just excellent stuff. Definitely go watch it.
I always appreciate when matches like don't end with a finisher, but like don't end with a roll up, kind of like a signature move, because then it like redefines that move can win a match.
I agree 1,000%. I really wish more non-defined. I wish signature moves would end matches more, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Not a good example because like it's ended a couple of matches this year with like counters and crap. But like I kind of wish that Seth got victories off the Falcon Arrow Superplex combo, like from time to time.
Yeah, like on TV.
Yeah.
That would make the kickouts more intense. It gets you into the matches more. I agree. That is definitely something that's lacking a lot in today's wrestling, I believe.
For sure.
But that,
for sure.
you know, that has a lot to do with training, the bookers, Jim Cornette type speak. All right. So rapid fire here now. I really wanted to discuss that match. It was really good. And who A-Kid is. Excellent stuff. So WXW has Broken Rules coming up real soon. So they had the Road to Broken Rules series. The weekly show Shotgun is no more.
How does that make you feel?
Well, if I get more Road 2 series, kind of like New Japan, I'm all for it, actually. The weekly show was good, and this is good. And this puts on more important matches, I feel. And they can still do their story building in the same realm.
Yeah, but so now the shotgun title doesn't make any sense.
Well, see, that's what I asked a couple WXW fans that listen to the cast and have been on the cast, and I go, so what is that? Where does that leave the mid-card title? Like, because it's named after
or something.
Well, Shotgun is synonymous with the streaming service, so I think in spirit it's still the same thing. Maybe in time they'll change it, but right now I don't think there's really a need to do it. It is still their mid-card title.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So the ongoing stories are Thatcher is upset with Walter because he's being a part-timer in WXW, so they kind of got in each other's face, and Walter got all kind of butthurt. Thatcher has been partnering with Chris Brooks lately.
Calamari Thatch Kings.
Yeah. So that's led to a match between Thatcher and Walter, and on Road to Broken Rules, Walter got in Thatcher's face, and he's like, "Fine, I'll find my own partner. I'll show you what's what." So he got Dragunov to be his partner in the main event against Thatcher and Chris Brooks, and yeah, Walter and Dragunov won.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Please tell me that at friggin' Broken Rules that Ilya is defending against Absolute Andy.
No, but I'm glad you asked that, and I'll get there in a second. In the main event of Road to Broken Rules was all the champions, Tag, Shotgun, and the and Absolute Andy, faced off against basically all the challengers, which was it was Bobby Guns, Lucky Kid, and I didn't write down who the tag team was. It's not Coast to Coast.
Wait. Is Absolute Andy still champ? Because I thought that Ilya won the title.
Well, Absolute Andy didn't lose the title, so Ilya's only the interim champion.
But then what does that make Andy?
He's still the champion, but he has to beat the interim champion now, so they're going to have a unification match down the line.
Have they got two belts, or have they just got the one belt?
They still have the one belt, but Andy is still the rightful champion. To me, it's good storytelling, because now you're going to have a unification match.
Definitely interesting, and I'm going to have to check this out, because, like, dude, Andy's a prick. And, like, the last match where he's, like, sitting there, it's like, well, think of your son.
Oh, yeah. So, at Broken Rules, we actually have Bobby Guns against Absolute Andy, and the winner of that will face the winner of Dragunov against PCO. Yes, the PCO from, like, the Quebecers back in the early 90s, where they dressed up like evil Mounties, evil Canadian Mounties. Yeah, PCO's like reinvented himself as this just psycho Canadian again, and he's also a hardcore guy. He's facing Dragunov for the interim title, while Bobby Guns and Absolute Andy are fighting for basically the rights to the main title, and then there'll be a unification match.
Much as I want to see Bobby Guns go over Andy, I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, I think it is.
You do?
I do.
Well, and then
you got the tweener against the heel.
Well, then he beats Dragunov at friggin' not Broken Rules, but at wherever.
It would be the anniversary show would be coming up after this.
I really like Bobby Guns.
And what's interesting is Axel Dieter Jr., NXT signee as Marcel Bartel, is returning and joining Ring Kampf with Walter and Thatcher.
Wasn't he with Ring Kampf in the first place?
Excuse me?
Wasn't he Ring Kampf in the first place, or not?
Dieter?
Yeah.
Yes. He was.
Mm.
So Broken Rules is shaping up to be quite the event. I'm excited.
I just want to watch Ilya and Walter kick the crap out of each other.
You mean PCO?
No, sorry, I meant to say Thatcher and Walter.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the whole card. It looks good. There's a triple threat match for the tag titles, so that'll be good. JFK has I think they'll retain easily.
Who's
Tony Storm's getting her chance to get her title back from Melanie Gray.
Gray?
I think shenanigans are going to happen there, and Melanie Gray is going to retain.
Yeah, probably. When is Broken Rules?
It is upon recording in a couple days.
Oh, dude, I'm excited.
And we'll get to see it like next Tuesday.
Well, you'll get to see it next Tuesday. For me, it'll probably like Friday. But I'm genuinely
right around the corner.
Pretty excited to see this. Like the freaking hair versus hair match at I forget what the last one was, but that was freaking crazy.
Yeah, at the Tag League.
Tag
League. Okay, so lots of women's wrestling to go through right fast. Not really story-ridden, but interesting enough. Stardom had True Fight 2018. Kagetsu and Hana Kimura had a hardcore match, which, to my knowledge, is the first ever in Stardom.
Okay. Apparently it was really good, too.
Well, sort of. The story was there, and I quite liked it. There was actually a story here in this one. So, Hana Kimura comes back from an excursion in Mexico. Sound familiar? Kind of like what New Japan does?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she comes back from Mexico to find Oedo Tai, the heel faction, kind of turned into too much of a comedy act. That's how she saw it. And after a few weeks into the 5-Star Grand Prix, and I spoke about this during the 5-Star Grand Prix, she turned on Kagetsu, and she called her a dog, a joke, and, like, Twitter chat on her for weeks leading up to this match. And there's even press conferences of Hana Kimura dressed up like a think of Alexa Bliss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dressed up like business sexy casual type thing, and she's like posing on the conference table like, no, forget about the champ, I'm here now, look at how sexy I am kind of deal. So think of that way, like really selling her character. It's one of the best character works I've seen in Stardom, in just women's Japanese wrestling in general. So, yeah. So then during New Japan, Stardom has their tag league going on, and they had their exchanges, so it led up to this. It started off as a bit sloppy. Match turned into 1v1 kind of blood feud after the interference kind of faded out. So that, it was very sloppy and all over the place for a good first half of the match. And then they must have like watched all the ECW things, because they got a bunch of chairs outside from underneath, and they were hitting each other over the head with the chairs, and then the seat would explode. So it was just the wireframe of the chair around them. Really funny. So you just hear a pop.
And then you're like, crap, time for a new chair.
Good wicked table spot at one point in the match. They had their kind of minions kind of setting up the tables and holding it steady, so they were being more safe. So I quite like that, where once that interference went away, that they were just kind of there to assist more than interfere. And that's what kind of sold me on it. And it ended up finishing via submission with Hana Kimura passing out to Kagetsu's submission hold. So for a first ever Stardom hardcore match and being only about 16 minutes, I think it was passable. I did enjoy it, despite it being all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. So the main event was Momo Watanabe, champion, defending against Mayu Iwatani, winner of the 5-star. 20-minute classic women's match of the year candidate right here. Just excellent ring work, amazing finishing sequence on a level that WWE should learn from. Western women should learn from. This is a good example of Japanese women's wrestling just being kind of on just at different level. Like, think of football in Europe, soccer for our American listeners. You look at a match of Manchester United versus Chelsea, Bayern Munich against Dortmund. The level's so high, and then you watch the Americans kind of play their little MLS, and you go, oh, this is kind of sloppy type stuff. You know, there can be good matches, don't get me wrong, but the generality of it is they have a long way to go to meet that upper level. That's what this title match was. It was so good. And then we continue that with the latest Ice Ribbon event, new Ice Ribbon 916 in Ryogoku. And it's called KFC Ribbon. I got kind of a kick out of that one. This was at the end of October. And it was for the Ice Infinity title. Awesome name for a title, by the way. And it was Risa Sera. Yeah, that's their main title. Risa Sera against champion Tsukasa Fujimoto, Manami Toyota's handpicked pupil. Yeah, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. Fujimoto pins Sera off a sunset bomb, which that move followed a springboard disaster kick. So think of Cody Rhodes' springboard kick. But the difference is she goes off the top turnbuckle, like she leaps onto it and then kicks you. So it's pretty cool. Right. Match went over just over 15 minutes. Both just beat the shit out of each other's backs. Strong style indeed. Risa Sera had some bruises on her. I've noticed this with a lot of Ice Ribbon matches, that the strong style is...
Strong style?
It's strong style. Like the women... Like, usually the losing woman has a couple bruises on their face and shoulder at the end of the match. Tsukasa Fujimoto against Maya Yukihi at I believe it was in October? No, I'm sorry, misspoke. August? Where they had that match, and Maya Yukihi was just battered and bruised all over. Meiko Satomura against Toni Storm in the Mae Young Classic. That was one where you saw Toni Storm kind of had a few bruises on her at the end of the match. You remember? Or did you not watch it?
Watch it.
Oh, boo. That's probably the best match of the Mae Young Classic.
Well, I would definitely keep that in mind. That's around 1-1, isn't it?
That's round, excuse
2? Me? Round 1-1. Like the round one good match, if that makes sense.
No, you're thinking Meiko against Killer Kelly.
So it's round 2. Or 3.
No, it was the semifinals, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Bar Wrestling 21 had an intergender match. Yeah, it's called Bar Wrestling.
I love the fact that it's called Bar Wrestling.
Yeah, it's called Bar Wrestling. It did take place in a bar, which is kind of funny. And it was an event for breast cancer awareness. All money went to a good cause, and it was called WrestleMania. So I got a kick out of that. It was Knockouts champ Tessa Blanchard versus X Division champ Brian Cage.
Now, you said this match was really good.
I really enjoyed this. So it came at just over 13 minutes. Cage was just chucking Tessa around the ring, while Tessa would make kind of early work of Cage. See, Cage went in with a bandaged leg, and he was protecting it all match. So when Tessa would go for her comebacks, she would aim for the leg, and that would take the machine down. So it made sense. It made it believable. And that's kind of important when it comes to just wrestling matches in general, and I think it needs it more in intergender. So there was a good, amazing comeback sequence, attacking the leg, hitting Tessa hit all of her key moves while kicking out of many of Cage's signature moves, but to no avail. Cage was proved to be too strong. So this is just another example of an intergender match where Brian Cage just seems to work well with women, and then he always beats them in the end. So it's good stuff. You can. I found that match on riseascent.com. So that's the.
I think it's on. There's a. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bar Wrestling's part of the Progress pack as well.
It might be. I'm not sure if WrestleMania is on there.
I'm not sure either, but as I said, I think Bar Wrestling's part of the Progress pack with the friggin' the Man Progress service.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. Lucha Underground time. How about that?
So, are we covering Ultima Lucha Quattro?
Yes, Ultima Lucha Quattro.
All right, let's see how much of this I can remember.
All right, you want to go through it?
You walk me through it, and I'll just pitch in what I can remember and what I can't remember. Because it's been a couple of weeks since episode 1, and episode 2 was last week. And boy, we've got a new champ.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. A lot of stuff happened. I think story-wise, this was the more story-ridden, centric focused of the 4 seasons. I do think that this season was missing that big match. Because in other seasons, it seemed every so often, every X amount of episodes, there'd just be that big match that you go, wow, what a great thing. I'm watching this just new type of wrestling. It's so out there. It's different. I'm invested in Season 4 here didn't have that. They also lost just a ton of talent. But the way they were able to kind of mold all the stories together definitely saved it. And I am taking a few of my words and sentences from what Robert had said, because we did record just the start of this, but I can't use that now. So I'm using his words, more or less in that statement, with some of mine. That being said, Night 1, Trios titles were retained by the Reptile Tribe, and there was a cool spot with the Right Rabbit mandible claws the shit out of Sammy Guevara, where he was coughing up blood, and he spits it all over the White Rabbit, who was Killer Cross, by the way, for those that don't know. And it's just this just awesome camera shot of just this blood all over Cross, and he's just got this maniacal look over him.
Dude, he's come out of nowhere in like the last year.
Well, he's been in AAA for a couple of years now, and now that the AAA guys in Mexico can work outside of, Mexico,
we don't talk about AAA.
He's exploded on the scene.
Yeah, we don't talk about AAA.
And he's doing wonderful work in Impact right now. That's for sure.
Yes. That match he had with friggin' Mundo this week was last week, this week, whichever one, was really good.
Final Hour will be talked about on the next Wrestlecast episode.
Well, my thoughts on it was really good.
Cool. And then the main event was Killshot against Son of Havoc, Mask versus Mask. And as Robert said, and I agreed with him, that Killshot / Saint Strickland just has so much stuff going on right now. It kind of made sense for him to lose the mask, whether he's got his Evolve work to do, his MLW type stuff. So the match ends on a shooting star press on a stretcher, as Killshot was strapped in. So a lot of storytelling from beginning to end here with the signature stretcher from previous seasons. And it was revealed that Killshot was Lieutenant Strickland. Oh my god.
That's crazy. And then AR Fox comes out and they salute each other.
They did. Dante Fox / AR Fox came back to salute each other.
Dude, the best thing about like this whole story though, was the fact that these two aren't wearing masks for like the family reasons or for honor or anything. These two have been wearing masks the entire time to hide from their past. Like you had, what was it, son of, not Chaos, but was it the son of Havoc, son of something else last season?
Uh-huh.
The other biker dude. So
Yep.
he managed to track down Havoc, and now like AR Fox has managed to track down Lieutenant Strickland. So like I'm not sure if friggin' we're gonna get Shane Strickland next season or anything like that, but
I don't think so. I think this was the end of the character Killshot, and it was a good ending for the character since he's been there from the beginning. Commentary did a good job all season making all these guys feel important.
But what I was gonna finish saying though, now that he's got his mask off, if he stays around, we're gonna get more people from his platoon showing up, platoon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the story there is he felt guilty, left his brothers for dead, the shame, that kind of deal. So
yeah. So there's
I don't know.
story to come in this if they choose to do it.
If they choose to do it, if there's a season 5,
if we enter the yearly thing of if there's going to be another season.
That's the big if. So, Night 2 was absolutely insane. Oh, there was one other thing that happened on Night 1. Taya Valkyrie beat Ricky Mundo and then took his doll that's been mentally possessing him all season. So, keep that in mind. So, Night 2, Dark Phoenix beats Dragon Azteca Jr. in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Good match. Not much else to say about it.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah. Willie Mack, or Damac, or not Damac, the Mac.
Beat Mil Muertes.
Barry's, yeah, he beat Mil Muertes in a pretty hardcore match. He throws him in the casket, quote unquote, buries him, and then cracks beers like Stone Cold Steve Austin over the casket. So,
well, that's pretty much all the Mac is, dude. He's pretty much Stone Cold with like more moves.
Yeah, kind of. Let's see here, Johnny.
I was gonna say, like, do you think Stone Cold knows who the Mac is?
Oh, absolutely.
That son of a bitch stole my gimmick. Give me hell yeah.
No, I believe he gave Mac his blessing to use it, much like Finlay is able to use the stunner kind of deal.
I would love to see that interview because, like, up to this point, I have never heard anything about that, and I have always assumed that he was gonna like stump a model in the Mac.
I'm pretty sure Mac was on Stone Cold's podcast, and they discussed
I might have to check that
the
out.
moves and everything. I'm almost positive that was the thing.
Might have to check that out. But yeah, Mil Muertes is dead. But what's the bet that he comes back next season? He was already dead.
Well, he's the man of 1,000 deaths, so they can do whatever he want. They can do whatever they want with him. He didn't get his heart ripped out. Oh, wait a minute.
Just like Phoenix is a man.
Spoiler for later. Yeah, well, Phoenix came back from the dead and had... yeah, so... Johnny Mundo beats Matanza Cueto with the help of the Gauntlet of the Gods.
Yeah, he did.
And I really enjoyed this match, with Mundo doing parkour all around the arena.
As soon as he gets the gauntlet, friggin' Matanza's like, I'm out. He starts running.
It was great. And then the story there is supposedly if you keep the gauntlet on too long, the god will possess you and ruin your body or whatever. And Johnny says the line, nobody can have this perfect body but me. Or some shit.
But this is a sacrifice of God match, so Matanza's dead. Got his heart ripped out.
He was sacrificed. So, and then we get to the main event.
Marty the Moth versus Pentagon Dark.
Yeah, in a Cierro Mero match. And within minutes, Marty is busted open hard. He's got a crimson mask going on. It only gets worse. Like, you watch this match and you're like, oh my god. I was worried for him via, like, a la Eddie Guerrero. Like, cutting an artery on himself against, I think that was against JBL, right?
Yes, the Great American Bash.
Yeah. Like, it reminded me of that. Marty was he was bleeding everywhere, just puddles, and it's oozing out of him, and he embraced it full force in the match. Like, it was crazy. And
sorry, go ahead. No, I was gonna say something, but I can do it after you've said your thing.
It was just crazy, and Pentagon was... he definitely wasn't aiming for the head in a lot of his moves because of what he saw, because you could tell he was resorting to a lot more kicks, and you could tell. And I can't believe they still went through with the going through the glass pane spot with how bad Marty was, because he was starting to... The wound was starting to close up. Because he was wiping the blood on his shirt off, and it finally looked like it was about to stop. Goes through the window, just all bloody again. I was like, "Fuck!"
But I was gonna say, dude, if you nicked an article, I've heard about this like a while ago. Because of how far in advance Lucha Underground is recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But because you shouldn't use glass in a wrestling. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You can't control how glass cuts.
Yeah, I even put out on Twitter, I'm just like, Marty, live, you sick bastard, hashtag Lucha Underground. And he I think within 6 hours or something, I got a reply from him, with the guy from Zach Galifianakis in a car just giving me a thumbs up. I was like, okay.
He's fine.
It's a good sport. Yeah, he's fine. Good stuff there. So the match definitely delivered. It was one of the high points in the season for sure. Good way to close the season. Marty the Moth definitely was a good character.
He still is a good character. What do you want about? He's not dead.
Right. He was he's one of the few that is a lot more character than what he does in the ring, which lacks, which was lacking a lot in Lucha Underground.
Was Mira Poster in this season? I still don't remember.
She was. She had a singles match against Marty for the title, and they beat the shit out of each other. Brother and sister kayfabe.
Oh, that's right. And then Reclusa got involved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Pentagon wins, gets his Lucha Underground title back, and then the show closes out with, and this is where something synonymous with season 4 is there's a good 5 minutes dedicated to just either continuing a story or starting something new and interesting. Well, this is how, if you're wanting to get people wanting to season 5, this is definitely how you do it. So, Vampiro gets in the ring, season 1 rival of Pentagon, and evil fake Sting for our WCW fans out there. At least that's how I saw him when I was 9. Introduces his master, Hexagon Dark, who I swear looks like Darby Allin.
Apparently he's an Australian dude.
Darby Allin's Australian?
No.
Hexagon Dark's Australian?
Hexagon.
Okay. So, Hexagon, Vampiro was going to hand over the title to Pentagon, but he kicks him in the nuts, and then Hexagon comes out, does some crazy moves. There's his master. And then, if you thought that was over, no. Jake Strong comes out, a.k.a. Jack Swagger, a.k.a. Jack Hager, cashes in, essentially, Lucha Underground's version of Money in the Bank, becomes champion. Kayfabe breaks Pentagon's ankle, so he's champion to end the season, but that's not all. Cuts to Matanza getting his heart ripped out by a woman from a previous season that had a beef with him.
Oh, that was the cop, wasn't it?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then Jake Strong comes out, and I forget what he said. Just so much shit. Then it cuts to the locker room, and Taya's now possessed by the creepy doll that's been mentally possessing Ricky Mundo all season. So now she's fully possessed and evil and choking out Johnny Mundo over here. Then it cuts to the limo driver and I keep calling him Swagger. Jake Strong with his new title and the gauntlet of the gauntlet of the gods now. goes into the limo. There's Papa Cueto,
Antonio,
and Hexagon Dark.
Vampiro?
Yeah, Antonio. And I don't remember if Vampiro was there, but sure, why not? And then it cuts to, I'm afraid I've got some bad news, or who's got some bad news? It's Stu Bennett was the limo driver from season 3. Just batshit crazy stuff. What a way to end the season.
And Dario Cueto got brought back to life by
oh, right.
Friggin' time traveling dude.
Aerostar, yeah. He put the medallion of life or some shit on Dario, so he's back alive again. So
can't wait to see Dario and Antonio interact in the ring.
Yeah, right. Well, they're different people. It shouldn't be a problem, right?
Oh, should be fine. Should be fine. Easy to do.
Should be fine.
Should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was Lucha Underground. Do you have any final thoughts over Lucha Underground?
Dude, the show is crazy.
The show was nuts. All right. On to Progress, Chapter 77. Pumpkin Spice Progress.
I do like me some pumpkin spice.
So no stories really happening here, so I'll just run down the matches right fast.
Yeah, kind of. The triple threat for the number one contendership sort of had a story to it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, very minimal. Minimal stuff in Chapter 77, but a good show nonetheless.
A bad Progress show is still a show.
Yes. They still put on a good product. So, Jenny and newly heel DiMatteo jump Mackenzie and Isla Dawn, while the ex-House of Couture even the odds. That's what happened in that match, because it was Mackenzie against Isla Dawn for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, Colin would have got a kick out of this.
I don't know why Isla Dawn's on my television screen so much lately. I don't understand the obsession or draw with her at all. I don't feel it. I think she's very below par in the ring. She has a lot to learn.
Like I said, Colin would have got a kick out of this.
Yeah. Trent Seven defeats MSW champ, which is an
Mr. Juicy.
Australian promotion. Yes, Mr. Juicy.
He doesn't like that name.
Gino Gambino, a bigger dude.
Gino Gambino, yeah.
There was a funny spot where Gino Gambino gets an inhaler and then heals it. He does a heel move with an inhaler and sprays it in Trent Seven's face, so I got a kick out of that.
He looks a lot bigger than the time that IWA, I think it was. Yeah. Did like a stunner, a rock bottom, friggin' a stink face in that match that I saw him live in. It was weird.
Oh, sure. And what could have been match of the night, Aussie Open kills it as they defeat the Grizzled Young Vets and the 198. I'm loving this 198 tag team.
Yes, I'm on. This match was fantastic.
It was bonkers. Let's see. Next was Paul Robinson defeats Mark Andrews. Then Eddie Dennis cuts a good promo coming for the title. That's about all to say there.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was the triple threat for the number one contender match. Always like a good number one contender match. It always makes the match have incentive and stakes.
Mm-hmm. So this was friggin' Havoc, Haskins, and brain's not
Chris
working.
Brooks.
That's the one.
So to keep Havoc strong, Drew Parker came out and interferes and takes Havoc out of the match. Good continuity there. I quite like that.
Hey, explain that one to me.
So in a few Progress chapters ago, when trying to get the devil out of Havoc still, he had a hardcore match with death match with Drew Parker, and Drew Parker beat Havoc and basically just called him a pussy. So
this was like one or two Ospreay one.
This was before the Ospreay one.
Yeah, like we said, like a few before like one or two before.
Yeah. So you can see the continuity here, where Drew Parker's now pissed off that Ospreay got the Devil Havoc while he didn't.
So why were they trying to bring the dark side back out of Havoc?
Because at one point he was the face of the company.
I get that, but like, he was a dick at that stage.
Well, Drew Parker wants a rival. He doesn't want pussy Havoc. He wants a challenge. He wants it's good. It's good kayfabe for how important the deathmatch guys like see each other, kind of deal. Yeah. And then my boy, my man, my buddy, my best friend, Mark Haskins beats Chris Brooks, number one contender, and he cuts a good little heartfelt promo how he was taken out of wrestling, neck injuries, kind of like the Daniel Bryan kind of injury promo, and Haskins coming for that title, boy. I quite like this booking. I'm a big fan. I think this is a good opportunity for Haskins to prove himself, why he's an ex-Progress champion, why he should be regarded as one of the top talent in the company. And with NXT UK happening, with the likes of Travis Banks and British Strong Style being essentially taken out of the main event for the foreseeable future, this is a great opportunity to push new talent and to get old talent back up at the top, a la Jimmy Havoc and our winner, Mark Haskins. I think it's great booking decision here.
Indeed.
Now we get to our main event. You saw the main event, right?
I did.
Walter defending against Zack Sabre Jr. So WXW guys facing off in Progress for the title. I got a good chuckle out of me with that one. So what did you think of this match?
Look, it was good. I was reviewing it, so I didn't take notes. I enjoyed it.
Did you like it? You did like it.
I did.
What did you like about it exactly? Because it went 30 minutes.
Well, dude, you know what you're gonna get with the Zack Sabre Jr. match, with the friggin' he focuses on a body part and takes you down with that body part. If I'm not mistaken here, it was the legs, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the legs this time. There was an earlier match this year against Walter well, a few of them. One in Defiant, a couple in WXW.
Well, the one in Defiant was Volta, ZHA, and Travis Banks, I think.
Yeah. So there was a third guy involved. And they had a singles match at WXW not too long ago. I think it happened over the summer, where Sabre was gunning for the title, and he had to go through Walter first, and he made him tap out.
Fan Appreciation Night?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This was how Zach pretty much got that title opportunity, was he tapped Walter out.
I'm guessing that doesn't happen often.
Well, it happened twice over the summer from Walter, but no, it does not happen often. That's why it was kind of... That's how WXW booked it to get the next person over.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But this match did not rinse and repeat movesets and the formula that was used in those previous matches. This was a very different outing between Sabre and Walter. And I'm going to go on a limb. I think this is the best match I've ever seen with these two against each other.
They've had a few matches together, haven't they?
They've had a few.
And this is your favorite.
And this is, I think, it's now my favorite, and it's, I believe, the best one they've had. It was incredible. I think it's a good culmination of how far both guys have come and how much they've added to their repertoire and their chemistry together. Like, Walter just beats the shit out of Sabre and his neck.
Yeah, he did.
Fucking cracked him. Sabre, anytime Sabre tried to pick a body part out, it was, anytime he got some momentum going, just put down and stomped. And I think this affected, we'll get to Power Struggle, but I think this affected Sabre's match against Naito. Because he just took such a beating. Yeah, this was a stiff outing, man.
Yeah, I think that he wasn't selling it. Sorry about that.
Could you repeat that? You had food in your mouth.
He wasn't selling it, though, was he?
At Power Struggle or here?
Power Struggle.
Oh, he was definitely selling it.
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely selling it. So, yeah. 30-minute, just crazy slugfest. I loved it. Definitely go out and watch this one.
It was good.
And then to finish up Indie, just right fast, I watched a Wrestle 1 match, for fuck's sake.
Okay, what's that?
Wrestle 1's an indie Japanese promotion. I was bored. I had a little bit of time on my hand. It was 2018 Updraft from October 24th. Shotaro Ashino, a big up-and-coming guy people don't really know much about or talk about him because he's in Wrestle 1, faced Pagaso Illuminar, kind of a lucha type dude. Lucha style, anyways. He wears a mask. Decent enough 16-minute match. Ashino retains. Ashino's a good rising mat-based wrestler. Reminds me a lot of kind of that Jack Swagger, Kurt Angle type wrestler, but he's Japanese and more powerful about it all. So keep that in mind. Shotaro Ashino, definitely a name to keep in the back of your head.
Okie dokie.
All right. Well, this is a good opportunity for me to play a drop, and that will signal Robert coming in, and I will introduce him really fast before I play the drop. Robert is from the Loudmouth Wrestling Podcast, and he was kind enough to join me for the Noah, All Japan, and Ring of Honor conversation. And yeah, we did get cut off at the Ring of Honor conversation, so we never got to New Japan as planned. So I'm going to play this drop. That'll cue this coming in for about an hour. And then when we come back, you'll be joined by me and Jay talking about Power Struggle. So here we go, as I play the drop.
Yeah, I didn't know I was reviewing Freaking Progress.
Okay, so on the previous podcast, I believe that's what it was, the end of Royal Road in All Japan occurred, and Kento Miyahara has won back the Triple Crown title from Zeus, and I spoke just briefly on it, that I wasn't a fan of Zeus's title run. I wasn't a fan of him being at the top of the company. Good on the guy for winning the title. All Japan needs all the talent push that they need right now. But to me, he wasn't working out. I'm very curious about someone else's opinion on the matter.
Well, considering the fact that All Japan was trying to get away with doing we need to get someone in your mind that can be the next guy. But the problem is attendance was diving because of it. Not a lot, but it was enough. And
I can imagine so. Zeus doesn't...
Forces. No. Forces, money always can drive decisions. And, he is one of the most... Zeus is not one of the most popular wrestlers on their circuit. And
oh, no.
they were just trying to get him to be considered one of their top 4. And
which is fair
hoping
enough.
For the best. Yeah, which is what every organization do. They try to have a top 4 wrestlers that when they wrestle, it means something. The problem is when you're not getting any kind of reaction from the crowd, you're better off getting booed. You're better off getting, if you get any kind of reaction, it's way better than getting what he got, and that was like apathy.
Yeah, the only person I can think of, at least in Japan, I don't keep up with Wrestle One or DDT, is Go Shiozaki and Noah, and we'll get to him, don't you worry. But that's what it reminded me of, was Zeus's little run. I just check in with All Japan every once in a while and just look at their junior title and the triple crown title every now and again. Because I really like Miyahara. I think he's a top 10 talent in the world.
And that's the thing is that he has carved his niche in there and made himself as marketable as he can be there. Now, I don't think he would leave because it's sometimes very good to be the biggest fish. And the thing about it is All Japan isn't necessarily that much smaller than New Japan. At one time, the roles were reversed.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And it can happen again. And that's the scary thing, is it can clearly... things can switch on a dime. If people get very aggravated with what's going on in New Japan, all suddenly, hey, there are enough people talking about it. You got to realize it's out there.
Well, that's what happened with... I was doing a little research. I like my women's wrestling. I really do. And Japanese women's wrestling is always very fascinating. And I was doing a little research on Oz Academy and various women's promotions that started up after AJW went down. And if you guys aren't aware, that's the one that like Manami Toyota, Aja Kong, Akira Hokuto, I believe her name was Yoshida. They were like the Power 4 at one time. And as soon as AJW went down, there needed to be more promotions, and they all kind of started their own. Aja Kong's got Oz Academy. Manami Toyota basically helped run Ice Ribbon get going. And then all of a sudden Stardom popped up and just took everyone away from them and became the big promotion. So just on a dime, especially in Japanese wrestling, I definitely feel you saying All Japan, or even Noah for that matter, could take fans away easily. All it takes is an alternative and people getting, as you said, aggravated.
Yeah. Well, and in Japan, it has been noted that each of these groups have had nice runs, and then the bottom drops out. And then there's another nice run, and then the bottom drops out. They can be very fickle. And now, granted, I know we're in a different environment now with the internet and all the other things that can do to bring in more money.
Sure.
In, but still, it's kind of, it's a different thing. And the one thing is, you were talking about women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Aja Kong just did... I forgot what event she was at.
What's funny, 3 out of those 4 women's wrestlers I just named, just like Aja Kong's still wrestling. Manami Toyota and Yoshida just retired last year.
Yeah. No, Aja Kong was at the large women's event they had Great Britain. Now I forgot the name of it now. And I
Oh, Pro Wrestling Eve?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she did a special singles match, and she looked really good, considering she's not exactly a spring chicken.
Oh, no. I mean, shit, she's been wrestling since, I want to say, the late 80s, minimum. But yeah, like, she was just in the U.S. Helping start a promotion called Rise, which has just signed a relationship this summer with Impact Wrestling, with their women's division. And her and Hiroyo Matsumoto just showed up. It seems, and women's wrestling's exploding right now, and that's a good thing. I only see it as a positive.
Well, considering the fact you're talking about the ability of drawing another market in, and one of the positives is the women have proven they can wrestle just as hard, or even worse, even more violent than some of the men.
I've seen some of those hardcore matches in Ice Ribbon. They're brutal.
I wouldn't want to go anywhere near those matches. And like I said, the skill level, talent level is ridiculous. And you were talking about Stardom. They just had another major tournament, and the wrestlers that are there. I mean, it's like it's
and a lot of them are under 25 as well.
Well, yeah. Just remember, a pug for B.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little on the hesitant side with Shirai and Hojo leaving for WWE, but they're fine. Stardom's fine. I'm not worried.
No, Stardom's fine, but their two careers are going right down the toilet. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking about other federations. Sorry about that.
Well, I mean, Kairi Sane kind of got hosed with the booking of Shayna Baszler and the MMA women. That's no doubt. We definitely know where that's going. And Io Shirai, I don't know what to expect, what they're going to do with her. She's so damn good. Well, I said the same thing about Shinsuke Nakamura, and look what happened. Anyways, back on track here.
Yes.
What's the latest coming out of All Japan? Do you see any like two particular stars to go along with Zeus and Miyahara? Because I'm really having a hard time seeing it right now.
I will tell you this. I'm a big fan of Kondo, the junior heavyweight champion. I know his reign is only very short,
right?
But he has. I know this is going to be another bad comparison, and I apologize ahead of time. He reminds me a lot of Hiromu, as far as he's fearless. He's, he doesn't wrestle like a typical quote junior heavyweight, and his skill set provides a lot to be desired. Now, granted, he is not exactly the youngest wrestler on the planet, but his skill set is phenomenal, and it's something you really want to watch. So I have no problem with him being world champion.
Is it? I'm trying to remember. Is it Noah or All Japan that kind of doesn't really care about the weight difference classes? I think that's Noah. So then, in All Japan's case, that would mean he would have to kind of do a passing of the torch to move up a division, just like New Japan.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got my facts straight there. All right. Is there one other name comes to mind then in All Japan?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a Swama fan.
Okay.
Just because of stiff. Like, again, I'm going to the older wrestlers, but when you've seen them enough, you know exactly what they're going to do, and he's so stiff. Oh man, you hear him hit, and it's like I would be afraid to be hit by him.
I get that when I watch an Ishikawa match for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Oh
yeah. Ishikawa is one of those guys that seems to always be at the top of a card, but never like stays there. He's the enhancement of top talent, and which is perfect for him.
But everybody's got to have that role, and as long as you're comfortable with it, You know what I'm saying? That's the key.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
you got to be comfortable with it. And a lot of people can't handle it. Their ego won't take it.
Well, they always say, I think it was Cornette who always said, you have to have an ego in the business, or you'll just get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense in a lot of ways. That the best guy you can say that about is Austin Aries, always constantly being looked at as the small guy, can't work kind of deal. Boy, if he didn't have that ego, he wouldn't be sought after as top talent.
He had, at one time, I think it was 6 belts.
Oh yeah,
At one time.
he was pulling the Ultima Dragon.
Yeah, and it was great because he'd go to Defiant Wrestling and he'd have their title and he'd have like a couple other titles just on him, and he'd just walk out and be like, holy cow.
Yeah, he
That's
seems
impressive.
like a big deal.
Yes.
That's the point.
Well, yeah, it makes it important, so that's a good thing. All right, so what else do you want to go into?
Well, we got Noah. I caught up with Noah's Global League. They had day one happen. At least that's what I got a hold of anyways. I'm not up on the schedule exactly. It's basically their version of the G1. If for all those New Japan fans out there, just 2 blocks. Everyone faces each other once kind of deal. Points at the end. Two winners face each other, and then they're the winner of the tournament kind of deal. And to me, when you have a tournament like this, and that's Stardom just had their version, New Japan just had theirs in the summer. The first night, I feel, is always a good indicator to what the tournament, and that's that kind of, whether it's state of mind, the wrestling you're going to get, and the booking you're going to get. Would you dispute that at all?
Not at all, because if you want to compare it, think of the first night of the G1.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it's like, here's an upset. A major upset. And it's like, Okada loses. What?
Right.
What is going on with that? And then it draws you in.
And then your main event delivered as well.
Yes. And that's the problem you had today. Or, well, you were watching.
Yeah, so I saw some of the matchups here, and I can't quite remember all the names off the top of my head because I hadn't written them down in my notes quite yet. But we're doing it anyways. We're doing it live. Keno faced a more martial arts type guy. I forget his name. I don't see him too often. Keno takes a shoot headbutt to the head after a just sloppy exchanged match, very short. Considering it's Noah, which pride themselves on long matches. Or the longer side, generally. And Keno takes a shoot headbutt. He gets necked by the dude on a pile driver. Just looked nasty. He's bleeding blood from his forehead. Pretty bad to go with his slick blonde hair he likes having. Keno's doing everything he can to just make this guy look like $1,000, but the other guy just... It's not working. And then he takes a finisher, match over. I'm like, what the fuck was that about?
Well, when you described it to me, especially with the shoot style headbutts,
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big fan of that. I've seen too many wrestlers over the years suffer permanent injuries because of this.
Oh my god, Shibata's like #1 prime example right now.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if he was healthy, he probably would be one of the top 4 wrestlers in New Japan. And how many careers in any sport you want to talk about have been ruined because of smashes to the head? I mean, there are ways to do headbutts safely.
Christian in WWE, if we want to go that route.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I never thought of that one. Oh, yeah, Bret Hart, same thing in WCW.
Bret Hart got cracked by Goldberg just one extra time too many. That's all it takes. Bret Hart had a lot of concussion issues, but that was kind of his mindset of who he was. Just like Shibata, same mindset. No, I gotta go out there and go to work. It's just that mindset, and just takes one time. That's all it is after that.
And the brain's a fragile thing. The brain is a very, very fragile thing.
No, come on. It's just like a meat patty. You just hit it a couple times, it's fine.
Believe me, there have been times I've wondered. Oh, yeah.
So there's that match. And then I watched the Nakajima Marufuji match, the one I was looking forward to the most, because Nakajima, Katsuhiko Nakajima, he's got this heel persona thing going on. He's got a kind of a 70s porn mustache thing that makes him look really sleazy. He's going right into his character quite well. He's playing up the heel role quite excellent at the start of the match, rolling outside the ring. Marufuji's getting a little bit irritated. He's looking at the ref. Not something you see out of a lot of heel work in just Japan in general, just from my own experience. It's very different heel work. This felt very westernized. It felt different, which is a good thing. So he's doing that. Go on.
Yeah,
you want
go
to
ahead.
say something?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
So he's doing that thing. He gets in the ring. There's a quick little exchange. He hits the ropes, takes a massive knee from Marufuji, and he oversells the piss out of it like Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig style. Like, he rolls around, falls outside the ring. He's like rolling around on the ground, making it seem like it's the most devastating thing ever, and Marufuji's like, God damn it, get back in the ring. So I loved all that. It happens a couple more times, then they start exchanging a bunch of kicks. Nakajima's getting the better of him. I was like, this is great. It goes by 13 minutes. Nakajima finally gets the better of Marufuji. The ref is like checking on him. Nakajima throws the ref out of the way a couple times, hits him a couple more, kicks him real hard a couple times in the ground. For our WWE fans out there, think of like Randy Orton when he was kicking legends in the head and taking him out. It felt kind of like that, just pulling the ref out of the way, kicking him regardless while he's down, kind of deal. Good heel work. He ends up getting the win over Marufuji, and I'm like, 13 minutes, round one. There we go. That's what I came for. Perfect.
The time is the key. If you can put a match together that keeps you focused, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or whatever. It can be 13 minutes, and it can be really enthralling. And the pace of the match has to match the time.
Yes.
And that's the
very
key to
important.
it. And that's the key to it. And that's why it works. Those kind of matches work.
And this did two things. It made Marufuji's offense look very devastating and to the point, and it made Nakajima look like a great heel. Didn't seem like he got the better over Marufuji, which is very important to me. He's like a top player in Japan, just like Miyahara is. And plus, I love the shit out of him. Like, he can do no wrong. He just has that kind of presence with me. So that set a good pace. The next match was the junior heavyweight title match. Harada against a freelancer. He bounces from Noah, and I think he's in Wrestle 1 as well. Let me get his name right fast, as I very unprepared, very professional. Here we go. Yes. Oh, nope, that's Sugiura. I don't have it in front of me. The point is, he ended up winning the title.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it was a match that went about, I want to remember it was about 15 minutes, probably less. It sure felt like it dragged on. They were just exchanging moves for the sake of exchanging moves. That's what it felt like. So never a good sign, at least from my perspective and how I look at matches. And then all of a sudden there was just this weird roll-up exchange at the end where Harada tries to go for a pin. Then he gets rolled up. They both kick out once, and then the same dude rolls up Harada for a second straight time, and then it gets the pin. And everyone in the audience just goes, what happened? Not a good sign for the finish. I even went, wait, was that 3? And I'm watching this and I rewind, like, oh, it was 3. Because Harada had, like, no reaction. And the guy who won had, like, no reaction. And the ref just goes, yeah, 3. So then like a few more seconds pass. Harada then goes, oh, the match is over. That was Then there was the reaction that he lost. He just lost his title. So I'm like, what? What is this?
That's got to be a botched. That's got to be a botched finish
I don't know.
There's no way.
Could have just
no
been bad
way,
selling.
There's no way both wrestlers have the deer in headlights look. And
oh, here we go. Kotaro Suzuki. That was the name. Yeah. Hotaru Suzuki.
He is the definition of a freelancer.
Oh yeah.
But then again, if you notice, the one major thing that they've done is, again, another champion, another 40-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start. I mean, I know it's because they draw the crowds, and I know that's because they need the attendance, and I get that. But you got to have the plan B, because 40's fine, but now those numbers start creeping up, and everything starts slowing down. And
yeah, and that's something you see. That was an issue in the '90s with WCW. As many pundits might say, bigly. It was a bigly problem.
Yeah,
but if it's taking a temporary attendance hint to build new stars up, then it always has to happen. Whether it's WCW, whether it's WWE, whether it's a small promotion in Japan, you gotta build new stars. Otherwise, in the long run, the company's gonna fail or take such a hit you can't recover from.
Again, it comes back to, what are you trying to develop?
Right.
What is the long-term vision? And too many, like you said, too many federations are focused on right now.
That goes with the company a lot. Any company.
Yeah. But that's why I kind of like what New Japan does. They're kind of developing. They're showing you who the future should be. They send them away. They bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go. So that is the best way to do it.
There's a constant plan B, and I feel that's you know what, we'll get to New Japan in a second for sure.
Yep.
So that was real weird. So we're at two. I skipped the two like 10-man tag matches. I felt no reason to even bother with that. So the finish to the junior heavyweight title match was really odd. I don't know if this sets up Harada for a run at the top, because I do like Harada. He usually puts in solid matches. He just lacks a lot of personality. And he definitely showed that when he lost the title. Or lack thereof, more like. So now we're on to the main event. And it's Sugiura against Go Shiozaki again, which we just saw at, I believe, like Emerald, whatever they call. No, it's got weird names for their events. It's always like some mineral.
Yes.
And as the geologist I am, I should know that, but so it's Harada versus Go Shiozaki, and Go Shiozaki, as I mentioned before when we were talking about All Japan, he doesn't. I love Go Shiozaki. I think he puts in great matches. He sells like a champ. Great work in his early days with Kenta Kobashi. Maybe you've heard of the name, kind of deal.
Oh no.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of him. So, so I'm like, all right, I've seen this before, but their last match was pretty good. This should steal the show. You know, whether it's Shiozaki wins, finally gets one over on Sugiura, or, as what I've really been loving this year, is Noah's commitment to Sugiura being the Terminator. He's this old guy that is cocky, he's pissed off, he just brushes everyone off because no one can beat him, and the ongoing story is, bring me a young guy who can beat me and take the throne, essentially. I really like it. I always like his little post-match promos and him just going, all right, who's next? Come on in the ring. Very subtle, kind of dry humor and a cockiness to it that a champ should have, at least in Sugiura's case. So the match goes on. It's only about a 17-minute match, which is on the short side for Sugiura, considering of what we've gotten this year. 30-minute plus every time. And so they started like they did in their previous encounters. It goes outside, they chomp each other a lot, Sugiura just not really selling it, yet his chest is becoming very, very red. And so then it just starts to drag, nothing's happening, because now both guys aren't selling, both guys aren't really talking to each other in the shit-talking sense. And Shiozaki just all of a sudden gets kind of the one-up on him, and it looks like... I don't know if this was bad chemistry between the two, or the booking just goes, this match is going to go this long, Shiozaki, you're going to get the pin, and then that's it. And that's what happened, and as I said, Shiozaki doesn't get crowd reaction. They just don't care about him. I don't know why, I don't know what the deal is. And when he won, the crowd just goes, okay, he won, whatever, move on. Not a good sign for your main event. I think that was very poor placement.
No, and they obviously wanted him to get that kind of reaction. And when you don't, I mean, it's not like he has had, I mean, he's been everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's been all over the place. And I don't understand. He should have been, I guess maybe they're just, the expectations from him are not there anymore. You know, you can be really good, a really, really good wrestler. Mm-hmm. But if the fans are disappointed enough and don't feel you're it, they're not gonna do anything. And yeah, like I said before, apathy is the best way to kill a career. It's like, oh.
Yeah, this should have been the 13-minute match. Get a shock win over Sugiura early. And then you have, I think, Marufuji and Nakajima in that, like, go an extra so-and-so period of time. That, I think the placement really hurt this. And yeah, that expectation of Go Shiozaki, I don't know what Noah's thinking with him at this point. They just had a match like a month or so ago. Or 2 months ago.
And that was the main event. Wasn't that the main event?
Yeah, and it was the main event. And the reaction as Shiozaki is like coming back and everything, like I was into it, but then I'm looking at the crowd and they don't give a fuck what's going on.
It's the crowd that matters. And if you're a booker, you have to pay attention to what these people are doing.
It was rubbing off on me as well. I go, well, if they don't care, maybe I shouldn't.
Which is kind of sad because you were into it. I mean, you were invested in it.
Yeah, I'm watching Sugiura just elbow the fuck out of Shiozaki in the corner with those Terminator elbows he likes doing. And I'm just going, oh my god, this is brutal. And meanwhile, the camera's has a good picture on like the people next to it in the crowd essentially, and they're just going, oh, he's getting hammered in the face. No big deal.
Well, the problem with that is that also is bad producing, because you can't afford to put those two things together. You know what I'm saying? You have to change the angle of your camera or do something or zoom in or something because, like it said, it affected you. And you're the one who's paying to watch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Noah. They don't have a streaming service. But yeah, I get the point. Yeah.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wasted your time then, it feels like. So...
Yeah, I don't know what Noah's long-term plan is, other than... Because Marufuji, I believe he's 37, 38. He's up there now. Nakajima seems to be the guy going forward, at least from the perspective that they put in front of me now, with the push that they're giving him. Shiozaki's not gonna... He's been there so long. If he's not it now, he's just like Zeus. It's not gonna work out.
No. You either have your chance or two to make it, or to make it with the crowd, and if you don't make it the second time, then you just become a glorified mid-carder.
And there's nothing wrong with being a mid-carder. Everyone needs that. That's for the workhorses. Shiozaki is by definition a workhorse, but man, if it's not any more clear, he's not main event. He can be in matches in the main event every now and again, but it just seems like being the guy, not a chance. So
no, he needs to be the guy that puts over the next guy.
Yes, the Ishikawa type guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alrighty. Well, needless to say, I'm very disappointed in Noah Global League Day 1. It's going to be a rough go of it. Haha. So I don't know if Nakajima's going to win or not, or Marufuji is going to pull another gets to the title match and lose because he's a great loser, or Sugiura just wins again. I don't know what the deal is. They definitely beat the shit out of Keno on the night, which doesn't bode well. I don't know what story they're telling there.
No, and he's ironically one of the younger ones on the roster, which is scary.
Yeah, and I liked his cocky little title run he had at the start of the year, and how he even lost the title being overly confident. That was good, and then they've moved on from him, it seems. I don't know what their plan is with Keno. Noah's real weird right now, just like All Japan in a lot of ways. Just they got two weird, different stories going on. Well, speaking of weird, I'm going to play a sound drop here, and we'll get to Ring of Honor Survival of the Fittest, because that was odd. Alrighty. Ring of Honor Survival of the Fittest. Oh, so my main issue with Ring of Honor, and I mention it all the time, is they do a poor job / lack thereof of storytelling. And they've been better about it in 2018 until now. And a lot of that probably has to do with the state of the Bullet Club, which is like, it feels like half the contracts in the company right now.
Oh, yeah.
Including losing Punishment Martinez in what has gone down to me on a personal level as one of the biggest flops of storytelling of 2018 for what they had in Chris Sabin going for a singles title in Ring of Honor with his long-term tag partner, Alex Shelley, basically going into retirement, going for the TV title with Punishment Martinez, on his way out for WWE, which we hadn't heard of until basically post-match when this all happened, and incoming Jeff Cobb. Great signing from Ring of Honor, by the way. I love Jeff Cobb, and I think that's he's a top talent, and Ring of Honor did well by getting him. Fantastic. Cut to the most recent pay-per-view before this one, and the Survival of the Fittest. Sabin not only loses, just basically clean, then Jeff Cobb comes out and steals any limelight that there could possibly be for getting any sort of babyface sympathy on Chris Sabin for losing clean. And then it was leaked like within 24 hours that Punishment Martinez left for WWE and lost the TV title on just a TV episode, which we didn't see until about last week.
Which was ironic because his picture was online at the WWE Academy, showing that he was down training, and he still, according to the thing, had the title, which would have made more sense is Sabin wins because Martinez is leaving. Okay, Sabin gets the huge pop for winning. Out comes Jeff Cobb. Does his twisting slam on him. Mm-hmm. Now Cobb comes out as the huge heel. And Sabin now is the underdog babyface champion that needs to now hold off Jeff Cobb. Now suddenly you have a storyline that can get you months and months and months of action. And you change it around on a dime because you want to give Jeff Cobb that instant publicity as being champion.
Oh yeah, it infuriated with me, and that was before I even knew Jeff Cobb became the TV champion.
Oh yeah, on the pay-per-view, absolutely, yeah. Like I said, Sabin has worked so hard and worked in so many federations, and we'll get to that later. Is that he had a really good run in the Super Junior League? Oh yeah, with Kushida, and he's a very good ring general. Like he can take someone through a match and get them through without any problems or anything like that. And you sit there with him and go, well, Jeff Cobb's going to be a bigger name. We need the instant publicity. It made no sense. You would get the same, like I said before, you get the same pop, same kind of reaction. Now Cobb's the hunter. And that's what you want. But
Well, and that's what he was doing, beating up all the, let's call them young lions, that are trying out for Ring of Honor, and he was just coming out, I'm top prospect, and kicking the shit out of them. And then he comes out and kicks the I was digging it. And then he comes out and kicks the shit out of Chris Sabin. Imagine that. I'm like, yeah, that fits the character they've been building. But instead he no-sells a chair shot from Punishment Martinez, and then beats him in 24 hours. I'm like, what? It was horrible, and even the build that they had with Sabin and Punishment, it was very half-assed. Because the groundwork was easily there. So, cut to Survival of the Fittest now, and we have, and for those that don't know, it's basically kind of a weird King of the Ring tournament, in a way. That's the best way I can describe it. There's random singles matches, triple threat matches, and then they all kind of meet in this, instead of everyone gets out of the first round, that's a round robin? No, knockout tournament. All those winners in that quote-unquote first round all meet in a elimination match, and then that gets you a title match opportunity, which we can assume comes at final
battle.
Yeah, final battle. Thank you. All these pay-per-view names, they're all running together in my head at this point. So we had Daniels winning the first match. We had Hangman Page beats Dalton Castle and Colin Delaney. So I was really surprised Dalton Castle didn't go over in this, but I guess they wanted to protect him in a way and not losing later in the survival match. That's what I can guess.
When he lost his world title, it seemed... Now, we know he was hurt.
Oh, God, he was bandaged up like a mummy.
Yeah. But it seemed like it was, again, they had put themselves in a position of, we should have done it on the pay-per-view, now we're doing it the next day on, another one of our little show things instead of in front of a large audience. Like I said, it baffles me sometimes, booking decisions, because if you're going to make a title change on a big show.
Absolutely. I had no issue with Jay Lethal winning the title, but the way it went down, I was like, okay. It just happens on TV. All right. And it's just makeshift, what was that, a Fatal 4-Way? I think that's what it was. Just a makeshift Fatal 4-Way.
And, like, if you're Cody Rhodes, it's like, didn't I just wrestle this last night and not win? I mean, it's like, you knew the odds of anyone else winning was very little. It's like, okay, so they just did this. They just had the exact same match. And it's like, now you're asking, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know.
To me, it should have gone, because they had the story of Matt Taven having pinned the champion. He feels he's the real champion. I think if you were going to do something along this line, you could have had Taven actually win it, and then within 24 hours he loses it through garbage means from other people in the promotion, and then have Jay Lethal win it. If you're going to go around this route that they're doing with Matt Taven.
Well, speaking of Matt Taven, what did they do tonight? What did they do on the show to give Matt Taven that little boost that they've been talking about?
All right, so then let's get there in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jonathan Gresham beats Tracy Williams. I watched this match. I'm a Tracy Williams fan. He makes up for his lack of charisma with his hard hitting and technical skill. I am a technical Matt kind of wrestling mark. I'll admit it.
And Jonathan Gresham is about as good as you can get with technical wrestling.
Oh, I love the guy. I've seen him live a few times, and his heel work doesn't feel like heel work. It feels like cheeky work, if that makes sense, with him redirecting even the ref's eyes, and then he kind of nut taps his opponent every now and again and runs away.
It would be not. He would be. This whole Gresham's situation would be different if he was like 6 inches taller.
Oh my God, yeah, he'd be world champion.
Oh yeah,
he's that good. But that could have also led to him being a totally different wrestler, and then just wouldn't come off as he could be Kenny King in that case.
Oh no! Don't no! Oh, keep going. We'll talk about Kenny King at the end.
Poor Kenny King.
Oh.
So Gresham wins, and I hope this leads to more Tracy Williams in Ring of Honor. I think that's a good place for him. He just recently left Evolve, and they were doing fuck all with him there. So Guerrero Maya Jr. Beats Andrew Everett and Flip Gordon, so that was kind of your Lucha match. Fair enough. PJ Black defeats Luchasaurus, so that was it. I mean, there's your Lucha Underground match.
Yes.
And Marty Scurll beats Silas Young and Stuka Jr. Not much in any of these matches other than the Gresham Williams match, in my opinion, anyways.
There was no moment in any of those matches. They were just there. You didn't know the end result, but you kind of could follow the scenario. If you didn't watch it, you kind of could picture how it ended.
Yeah.
And what moves they did in between. So yeah.
Yeah. They were matches. That's all they were. So then I was interested in the women's match. Madison Rayne against Britt Baker. I go, okay, I could feel a rivalry or something developing here. Instead, just another match. Just a 7.5 minute women's match.
But, well, and I know because it's for the Four Corners match at the Final Battle pay-per-view, I get that, and the thing about it is my gut says that Madison Rayne will win the title, and the only reason why is because she did choose ROH over WWE, even with the contracts being given out at the same time.
Right.
And this will be kind of like a thank you for choosing us kind of thing. And I mean, Madison Rayne's won plenty of titles in TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, she had her time in Impact. Fair enough. Fair play.
Yeah. So giving her a title now would be kind of like a thank you for coming to them.
Something needed to happen. Something needed to happen if you're going to have an event like this. But it was just another match. I've been very critical of Women of Honor lately. I don't like what they're doing.
They took a lot of hits. Donna Purrazzo, for what everybody gave her stuff for, she was one of the glues to that division. And she had character, and she had in-ring ability. And letting her go or not offering enough really hurt the division, in my opinion.
I don't think it was devastating. Because they immediately made up for it by signing Britt Baker.
But what have they done with Britt Baker?
Well, exactly. They made her lose on this night.
But that's what I'm saying is, if you're going to bring someone in to replace her, she needs to come in and win right away.
Are you saying that when you bring in new talent, you don't have them lose right away?
Yeah. No,
wow.
Why would you do that?
What a concept. As much as everyone likes to shit on kind of Paul Heyman's booking in ECW, what he was very good at, time and time again, wherever he's been, is you have a talent go out, you bring a new talent in, and you put him over immediately as a threat of some kind. That was his ECW moniker.
You have to, in anything in life, you have to cycle the bottom 20%.
Yes.
Constantly. Because if you do not, your stuff becomes stale.
Very stale. Including wrestlers at the top and middle.
Yes.
You have to cycle people out, whether they go on a, I don't want to say losing streak, but you gotta get someone in a rut, or bad luck, or the heels are going over, just something to legitify? Let's go with that word. Legitify your talent. And Britt Baker, coming off All In, $1,000, right there on the money, just laid out on the line, and you have her booked in a match against Madison Rayne, which, as you said, probably is going to win the title as the thank you. Don't put Britt Baker in this match.
No, you have tons of other talent you could have used in that situation. And honestly, if you really wanted to, you could have had Britt Baker against... I keep forgetting her name now. Like a Mandy Rose, okay? Put her against Mandy Rose, okay? And have beat Mandy Rose, and then have Madison Rayne come out and pound the snot out of her and say, "Look, I should have been in this. I should have been in this match to get to this world title match for the final battle pay-per-view. I should have been in this. You need to meet me at blah 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 for a match to determine who gets that spot."
Oh my god, what a great TV match that would have been. You know, it's amazing, and there's that's a huge issue with WWE lately. They don't protect the legends, and any new talent comes in, they just fucking lose all the time. But anyways, that's kind of the comparison there for more fans. There are more WWE fans than ROH fans. I'm not blind to the matter. So.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Yeah. All right. So 6-man tag match, tag team title or trios title, as I like calling it. Kingdom, Matt Taven with his crazy buddies against the Elite. I do like how they're called the Elite now and not Bullet Club. I do like that little twist. Cody and the Bucks, and I gotta say this: the Bucks look exhausted.
Have you seen their schedule?
Yeah, it's crazy. They look so tired, and it shows. Like they're still doing their key moves, but they're not doing as much work. Does that make sense?
They're tagging in and out appropriately. They're not, because there was a time where Matt would go in and he'd be in the match for like 6-7 minutes at a time.
Yeah, they're doing frequent tags. Yeah.
Yeah, now they're tagging in and out. Yeah, but this is what happens when it's contract time and you're trying to get as much publicity before it.
Gotta raise that stock.
Yep, you're going to Japan. You're going down to Mexico. You're going everywhere. They have a 4-day in a row Ring of Honor set of shows that are going to be on Ring of Honor television.
I'm going to one tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. Then see that you need to give a post-show thought on. Like, what did you see? What did you get from the crowd? Now, obviously, the problem is with this. Well, I shouldn't say this. ROH is doing the right thing. They're making sure that none of their people that are under contract have championships.
They're hedging their bets. Hedging their bets. We'll get to how when we get to New Japan, we can compare how they're doing it right, and in my opinion, how Ring of Honor is doing it wrong. I mean, shit, we just saw it with the TV title. What a disaster that was. Yeah. So basically, the Kingdom wins. Matt Taven looks so good right now. He comes back from Mexico, just this machine. I love the purple belt. He's the real champion kind of deal. Now he's got the trios titles with him. He can be even more cocky and confident about his claim. Man, just imagine if he had lost the title in 24 hours via screw job from management or something. Oh,
he is doing so well in CMML. The match he had against Vladimir Jr. hair versus hair match.
The match was good besides the finish.
Oh well, besides finish, but yes, but the match was unbelievable. He is so over in so many other places, and if you talk to true ROH fans, they love Matt Taven.
And he's a good promo. Taven. He's a good promo.
Yes, and he is making Marcellus, guy's name I should know. He's taking their stock up with him.
Oh, his partners in the Kingdom. Yeah,
Vinny Marcellus and I forget the other guy. And I honestly, he's making them both look good because now their promos are starting to sound really good.
Oh yeah, they're definitely feeding off him. Kind of like when Adam Cole was in Bullet Club and the Bucks started doing promos, and they're feeding off him as well. Good stuff, yeah. So the finish was real wacky, though, with the whole Brandy Rhodes coming in, and then how do I explain this? Brandy Rhodes comes in, she gets knocked around a couple times. There's a reverse referee decision. The match is restarted. Taven's all pissed off. Brandy takes another weird-ass bump, and then Taven wins. I'm like, is this WCW Thunder all over again?
Oh, no.
That's what this reminded me of. It just felt so forced to keep the Elite looking strong and the Kingdom looks weak coming out with the titles, rather than having Taven himself do something to get his team over.
If Taven would, like, say, pin Rhodes in the middle of the ring without any of the pomp and circumstance that happened with Brandy, he pins him clean in the middle of the ring. He not only can go stand up and say, I have the 6-man championships, I beat your former world champion square in the middle of the ring. Where's my title shot that's overdue?
Oh, yeah. They could have done a million things like that to keep Cody strong and getting pinned. Like, take both Bucks just totally out of the match.
Yeah.
Zip tie him to the guardrails kind of deal. I know that's a little NWA, but Cody's liking the NWA references a lot lately, so I think he'd be down for something like that. Yeah, and you can have a slightly shorter match if necessary. Cody's getting beaten up by 3 dudes kind of deal.
Yeah, and even if you want to bring Brandy out then, to have her concerned and, like, have her, saying, Cody, just stop,
Yeah.
That's fine, but I understand she's a wrestler. But we saw it with the world
She's a
title
wrestler,
match
but
in
she
NWA.
gets knocked down through a push, and yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Matt Taven, I do like him being in the top of the card. I think him, Dalton Castle, Jay Lethal are your 3. They need a 4 in probably a shorter time than ever. Jeff Cobb's going to be that 4th.
Well, they showed it in the next match.
Yep. So you had the tag champs SoCal Uncensored against that another blown storyline going here. They had a storyline where SoCal Uncensored's contracts are going up and they needed the tag titles before, what was it, November, before their contracts were up?
Yes, end of the year. It was end of the year, yeah.
End of the year, and then they just randomly win it because reasons, and now they have a tag match again against the champ Jay Lethal and the TV champ Jeff Cobb, and it was an 18-minute drag fest, in my opinion, considering the guys involved. Which is really shame.
Scorpio Sky, unbelievable wrestler. I really enjoy his work. Frankie Kazarian's been doing it for 20 plus years.
He sure has.
And it just seemed like it seemed like Jeff Cobb looked like he was out of place.
He is not used to it.
No. And the style in ROH is different than Lucha Underground, than PWG, than New Japan. It's different. And he looked like there were times he paused. It seemed like he paused in the ring. I don't know if you caught that. Where there'd be times like
no.
He was supposed to do something, and you could see the wheels were spinning, and then he just did something.
I've noticed
what he's supposed to do.
I've noticed that in so he just came back from WXW doing their tag league, and he was partnered with Angelico.
I love it.
Yeah, it's always Angelico's just been in odd promotions since leaving Lucha Underground. I miss the guy, but him and Angelico were kind of the joke tag team in WXW. They basically got last place in the entire tournament because Jeff Cobb and Angelico just didn't quite click. Even the tag chemistry wasn't there. Jeff Cobb would hit his moves, Angelico would dance around, hit his moves, and then eventually the other team would just get over him in one way or another. That was the thing. And I saw a lot of the same kind of pomp and circumstance here, where it was just Jeff Cobb would come in, he'd hit his couple moves, then he'd sort of get lost in the shuffle, and then that would be it. So, and it was very much more what helped him in WXW was his matches didn't go long, so it wasn't as noticeable. When you have an 18-minute match, you tend to see a lot of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. That's the problem. Is when you have matches that go. Like I said, I'm an Angelico fan. ELP
Mm-hmm.
He's another one of those talented people.
El Phantasmo, yeah.
Yeah, El Phantasmo. Man, I could watch El Phantasmo do stuff all day long. He floors me with his skill level. But let's go to the final match, which
we got to speed. Yeah, we do have to speed this up.
Yeah, which you want to talk about? They're trying to fill the 4th position. Here you go. Because go ahead, you can tell the match.
Yeah, so the match itself was good. It went about 25 minutes. You had all your winners. They definitely showed you with the last 3 who they want to be at the top. So I was very sad seeing Gresham go out so early. PJ Black, I swear he had more wins in this one night than he had in his entire run in Lucha Underground.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember, in that position in Lucha Underground, he was supposed to take the losses.
It was funny. It was just a good.
That was his role. Yeah,
it was a good little jab.
Yeah.
But I was sad to see Gresham go out so early, considering he's come off arguably the best feud of 2018 in Ring of Honor with Jay Lethal in their trifecta of matches there.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like the end of Marty Scurll and Paige teaming up, and then you had Daniels like freaking out, and he gets PJ Black in his corner, and PJ Black gets pinned. He's like, I don't know, brah. And Daniels getting the edge over Paige, and then seemingly the match just kind of comes to an end out of nowhere with Scurll winning. Obviously, they gave Scurll the win for Final Battle. They kind of want him to not go to WWE, obviously. This is to put him over and be that 4th guy, if it's not Cody.
His contract has another year.
Oh, I thought his was up with everyone else's. Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Marty's the odd one out. That's why, if you've noticed, that he's been promoting Villain Club, Villain Enterprises,
That's
Villain this,
right.
Villain that.
Okay. I didn't know that.
He's not pulling away from them, because obviously the promotion always helps, but he is separating himself from them.
Yeah, he said, okay, that makes more sense. He's setting himself up for just in case.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If they run, he's got a backup plan.
Yeah. And I can get behind Villain Enterprises.
Yeah, well, his intro music instantly makes the crowd react.
Oh, every time.
Oh,
every time. I react every time to him. That was the drop before we started Ring of Honor, by the way.
Oh, that's what I want you to do when you're at the show and he's there. You got to tell us how loud the pop was for him.
You got it.
Yeah.
So if he's there for another year, I do like this decision. Then the match ending felt pretty rushed. That's probably just with their TV slot. So
yeah, well, they got to get stuff done, and that's what they had to do. But Marty does his job. He gets the future title shot. He's already had a couple title shots and failed, but him against Jay Lethal earlier this year was phenomenal matches. So there's no doubt that this can work, and he will be a factor.
Do you think Scurll should take the title off Lethal?
No.
To end the year.
I say no because I'm a real big Jay Lethal fan, but if it's a complete go and the Young Bucks and Cody and Adam Page are all gone, then he needs to win the title. He needs it for the Federation, so they go, hey, you're losing all those guys, but we still have Marty, and Marty is now your champion. But that's only if they're all leaving. If they stay, no. Then have Jay keep it, and then he can go through the onslaught of Adam Page and Cody and all the rest of them again.
Yeah, I'm definitely of the same mind. So if he wins the title at Final Battle, I think that could be a telling sign.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jay, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. My favorite. And this show is a travesty. That's all I'm going to say. My boy Taichi lost his never openweight title, so Miho no longer has a baby.
Well, he'll get his rematch at Wrestle Kingdom.
No, maybe.
Won't he? Yeah.
No, like maybe a tag league finals.
Yeah, maybe. I think Goto deserves better, personally.
Are you saying that like Taichi not like all he's cracked up to be? How dare you?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying Goto is better than Taichi.
But
Taichi
we agree
is
that
second.
Taichi is like the best wrestler in the world.
Of course. Miho needs that precious title to hold next to her lover.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume here that Taichi was given the belt to be an interim champion for Ospreay, and then Ospreay got hurt.
Oh, 1,000%. That's what exactly happened. And then New Japan pulled an audible.
They
got
hit
it
the
to
panic
old,
button and then gave it back to Old Faithful.
Well, yeah, the Old Faithful. Yes, I was going to say Old Reliable Goto, Mr. Japanese Bret Hart himself.
You think that this is good. Do you think that he is better than the never opened my title? Because I kind of do.
He is, but he is that glue keeping that title together.
Yeah, like look at you give back to Suzuki. Like those two had great matches last year.
Goto, Ishii, Shibata was the never title guy for a long time with Ishii. Yeah, that never title. It's as much as I don't care about it, the wrestlers involved with it, like they deserve better generally. The booking just doesn't make me care about it. We've been over this before.
We have. It's just I don't really care for that belt either. It's just I know it's hard to explain. Like you pretty much just did a very good job of it.
It should be the part-timer belt. That's what it was invented for, and right now it seems like the booking's backwards with Jericho having the it seems like the never title has become the IC title in a sense, while the IC titles become the never title, but because of the prestige, we know which is more important, and that's the IC title.
Yeah, you pretty much summarized that up, because like originally the never title was supposed to be for people who haven't signed to the company, right?
Right, that's correct. So now it seems a little bit backwards in that sense. But, hey, the buzz right now is over the IC title and what Jericho's doing, and then the expansion of New Japan, which is the US title, which is going to be very curious going forward depending on Cody Rhodes' injury.
Cody has tweeted out earlier today, that he'll be at both Final Battle and Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, I guess it was just a torn meniscus and nothing's wrong with his MCL or ACL.
That's what he said. He said there's nothing wrong with the tendon. It's a meniscus. Or at least I think it was a meniscus. I'm sure it was a meniscus. It started with the M.
Right. I was searching for any information on that. I couldn't
if
find
you go,
it. So
if
good.
You go
That's good news.
Feed, it's there from earlier today.
That's good, because a meniscus does hurt and it's bothersome. I've torn my meniscus. I did it recently, pretty much, and I've just been going through it. I'll have scar tissue. So you can go through it. It hurts. Wear a knee brace, kind of deal.
Oh, actually, whilst we're on the subject of injury,
it's like a 6 week. It's like a 6 week heal period.
Well, maybe he won't be cleared for Kingdom and Fun, but I don't know. But yeah, whilst we're on the subject of people injured in Japan, there's something up with Joey Ryan, dude.
Yeah, Joey Ryan tore his titty too.
Yeah, and it's going to make it very interesting for a friend of mine, well, good friends of mine, the owners of Zella Pro, in regards to their crowning their first champion, because like he was supposed to be part of the tournament. I'm not sure whether he was supposed to win it, but they're going to have to find someone else to fill that come Royal Rumble weekend in Phoenix.
Well, pull an audible. I got to do that. It's a lot easier to find replacements on the indies than it is like booking decisions in something like WWE.
I think he was going to be that big star for the draw attraction, though.
I don't know if Joey Ryan's a draw, but anyways, let's stay with power struggle here. So, as expected, Roppongi 3K won the Junior Tag League, and they defeated Kanemaru and Desperado with a very good showing in the Tag League, by the way, keeping the champion strong. And then LIJ, the team of Shingo and Bushi, looking strong themselves all the way to the end. So I quite like the booking. Very very unique, having a triple threat, and the match was really good. Really liked it.
One of my new favorite pastimes is just watching Shingo kneeing and clotheslining juniors.
Oh my god, he does not need to be a junior.
Actually, this has kind of pissed me off though, because like friggin' Roppongi 3K won this, but yet it's another triple threat at Wrestle Kingdom.
It's another triple threat at Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, it's the exact same match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, weird.
I know. So I'm guessing LIJ is going to win the belts there, but
I wonder if that's because their mindset is because Shingo and Bushi beat Roppongi 3K in the tournament.
I don't know, but it kind of defeats the point of having a finals.
It does. That kind of ruins it. But regardless, it was still a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And how much do we actually care about the junior tag titles? Oh, there you go.
Well, the match was fun. If I get another one of them, it's because it's annoying the fact that the Junior Tag League essentially kind of got robbed of its like friggin' history.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Ishii retains the Rev Pro title against Minoru Suzuki in a 20-minute, another slugfest, using that word a lot here.
Yeah, you've seen one of their matches. You've seen them all. They did about. I'm not going to say they did more or did any less than previous matches they've done, but like you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Yeah,
I can watch these two beat the crap out of each other for days.
Yeah. Miso's hits sounded extra hard in this round.
Yeah.
And then it was revealed that Ishii will take on Zack Sabre Jr. at Wrestle Kingdom for the Rev Pro title. I like that booking. I look forward to that match.
Yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. Hopefully, ZSJ gets his belt back.
I hope so too. I really hope that this leads to... Oh my god. You know what this means? We're going to get Rev Pro title Zack Sabre Jr. against Walter in 2019.
Maybe if Zack gets it back.
I'm assuming Zack gets it back. That would be the right booking, in my opinion.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And for those wondering, the latest Rev Pro show, I believe that's Uprising. We'll cover that in episode 18. So, and speaking of Sabre, Zack Sabre Jr. faces Naito. Sabre sold his neck hurting in the match, so he was unable to really execute his submissions nor his Okada role that he's been winning a lot of matches with. So, as we all expected, Naito got his win back over Sabre. 20 minutes, good stuff. And I even have in my notes here, what's next for Zack Sabre Jr.? Well, we found that out shortly thereafter.
We did.
Yeah. I would have personally, this is just my personal opinion, like I get it, Naito's top 4 in the company. He's got to have some sort of major role at Wrestle Kingdom. I get it. I don't like him in the IC title picture. I've been very vocal about that on this cast.
Yeah,
I would have rather seen Sabre get the push.
I don't like Naito in the IC title picture either because of the history with him and that belt.
Yeah, and with him chucking it around, very vocal that he's pissed off that the IC belt overtook him at Wrestle Kingdom for his spot. You know, there's some real life beef with that title, and if he doesn't care and the wrestler's not into it, I wouldn't put him in that situation. I think the booking could have changed to have Naito in some other different program for Wrestle Kingdom. I think this also starts a big push for Naito in 2019 again.
Well, even if he went after the US title, because he got a pin over Juice at the G1, so he's kind of owed a US title match. It's not the IC.
But but the thing about what they're doing with the US title is it's the
Gaijin title.
It's the Gaijin title, and it goes with their expansion. So that's kind of the focus there. So
Who do you
Naito
think takes
doesn't
that
really
off
fit that.
Cody at Wrestle Kingdom? Because It's very interesting coming up here to Wrestle Kingdom and Final Battle because of what's going on with the Elite, and no one's quite sure what happens. Like, Wrestle Kingdom itself, come the end of the night, with either Kenny retaining or losing the heavyweight title, is going to be very obvious what they're doing.
I wouldn't be so sure about that, actually.
You don't think so? What, you think that he may retain if he's not re-signed?
I think even if he loses, it's not a sure thing Omega leaves New Japan.
I'm not saying that they... No, I'm saying this, but I'm not saying that they go to WWE.
You're saying if he retains, it's obvious he's not leaving?
Yes.
Well then, okay. You get the pop that he wins, and then you get the pop in your head like, yay, he's not going away.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if you lose the belt because of the way that you try to do their contracts, it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. Unless they offer a swerve. And then, like, at friggin' Sakura Genesis or something, he gets it back.
Gets the title back? Yeah, it's very possible. Well, I'm saying that even if he loses the title, it doesn't necessarily mean that Omega's leaving New Japan.
True. Actually, even if he does lose the title and Tanahashi holds it for like 6-7 months, something like that, I wouldn't be annoyed with him if somehow Jay White got his hands on it. I know it might be a bit early, but
I think Jay White's a while away from taking any sort of top spot. I think Jay White, he did very well at the end of his U.S. title run, especially how he lost it. It's interesting to say. I see Jay White in the IC title picture in 2019.
I see him as a potential winner of the New Japan Cup.
And goes for the title? Yeah, kind of pull the Zack Sabre Jr. of it all. Well, that's going back to that Naito Sabre match. That's why I think Sabre should have won this, and he's in the IC title picture against Jericho. That would have been a very interesting match. It would have been very unique, but that's not the money match. Like, I get it. It probably wouldn't draw as much as a rematch Naito Jericho. I get it.
Was Zack in the...
It's just me being smarky.
Was Zack in B block for the J1? Because I think he beat you too, didn't he?
Yes.
Maybe he's going to go. Oh no, friggin' the Rev Pro title. Never mind. I was going to say maybe
he's going for the Rev Pro. That's already decided.
I wonder who Cody's got.
Was it Ibushi that they were referencing?
Well, Ibushi's Japanese.
So? He's part of the Elite. He's part of, he's a freelancer. Why not?
Yeah, but then you got, like, Elite versus Elite.
So?
I don't say that happening with the nature.
They did Bullet Club versus Bullet Club.
They did, but, like, I don't say that happening with the way that New Japan does
Shit, in the tag league, they're having factions go up against each other multiple times.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. The Suzuki-Gun factions are weird. Like, we got Killer Elite Squad, we got ZSJ, and the best wrestler in the world, Taichi, and we got friggin' Suzuki with Dogman.
Izuka, yeah. It's a very uninspiring slew of tag teams. I mean,
I think there are 4 tag teams. You got Super Best Friends, you got Killer Elite Squad, Evil and Sonata, and the Tongans, like, for JOD.
Yeah, the safe bet, I think, is a finals of Evil and Sonata versus GOD. Evil and Sonata win,
and then that's your Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, and that's your tag match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, no, I could say that. Or even if it was friggin' not LIJ, not Killer Squad, but who's the other one? Super Best Friends. I could say them, don't say them with them.
Yeah, my dark horse pick is the Best Friends, Beretta and Chucky T.
Yeah.
Especially since recently Beretta got a pinfall over Bad Luck Fale. So there'd be some continuity there.
Well, he was supposed to be going up against Cody at Global Wars for the US title.
Correct, in Toronto. And then that was scrapped.
I think he ended up going up against Juice for that, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah. I went to one of the Global Wars events.
What, here? What, like recently?
Yeah, in Massachusetts.
Huh. Okay, I'll look for you on the crap when I get around to watching it, because I bought all four, which was $50 and kind of ridiculous. I should just, at this point, I should just buy ROH.
Yeah, you would have.
I'm trying to get Corey to me and like go me harvest, but he doesn't seem to want to play.
Yeah, $120 just straight up, and then you get everything.
I think he's scorned over Death Before Dishonor, which was not a good show.
What? No, it was fine.
Yeah, but I think that he was expecting more.
Well, all right. So let's get on this main event. Jericho versus Evil for the IC title. Jericho had Best in the World on his Titantron entrance the day after Crown Jewel, so I got a big LOL moment out of that.
So did I, actually.
Really like that. Jericho at one point took the apron banner off and blew his nose into it. Crowd heavily booed for him. Just a good example of the difference between Lesnar's reign and Jericho's IC title reign. They're never there, but when they are there, the difference is in the booking and how important their character is to the crowd.
Yeah, the Japanese people don't like Jericho.
Japanese people don't like Jericho, but it's not the go-away heat that Lesnar has. And Lesnar, whether it's the booking or he phones in matches, goes out there, does a couple F5s and pieces out, right? Jericho is doing full-on heel work and promo work when he's not there. It shows he cares.
30-minute matches.
Right. This match came in at 22 minutes. It was it was possibly Evil's best match in my opinion, because he came out looking like a bigger star than what he was going in, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not a big Evil fan. I know there's a bunch out there. He has a huge fan base. And every time I look at an Evil match, I go, okay. His moveset's not very awe-inspiring. His character work is kind of different. It doesn't flow with me. But going into this feud and coming out of the match, I got fully behind Evil. I got behind who he was. At one point, I was like, man, I kind of want this guy to win all of a sudden. Why is that? Well, that's also Jericho doing the heel work so well. And in the end, Jericho pulls an old-school lion tamer and makes Evil tap out.
Yeah, he did. I wasn't the best-looking lion tamer, but he pulled out a lion tamer.
Yeah, it looked like his old WCW-style lion tamer.
There was if I'm not mistaken, too, there was a springboard codebreaker, wasn't there?
Was there?
Or it was maybe a counter to Evil doing a springboard something in a codebreaker. Pretty sure it was Jericho doing a springboard codebreaker, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of good spots in this match. A good chunk of it started outside the ring. Kind of Jericho's got this hardcore-esque style to him in New Japan, and I love seeing listen to other podcasts and seeing people on Twitter complain or get all smarky with the refs in New Japan not calling something, or this match isn't a hardcore match. That's not what New Japan is. You have to really...
It's the ref's discretion in New Japan, which I think a lot more companies should.
I think so as well. So...
today with, freaking... the ref didn't say it today, it's not a good example. But, in a championship match, a ref should be able to stop the count for a 10 count, or a 20 count, if they're going to retain their count out.
Right.
Or if
Yep.
yeah, or a belt off the head or something. They should be able to be no, you're not getting out of this way.
Yes, they shouldn't just go, this is the finish. Right. It should be all up to the ref, and that's something where in New Japan you don't know what's going to happen. That's why when Red Shoes in the G1 was DQing Bad Luck Fale and shit, everyone popped for the ref. It was awesome.
But with that being said, though, very, very quickly here, with that being said, though, check with the person. It's you're good to go. It's the ref can quote unquote tell if they're knocked for six or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got Tag League coming up. Jericho's still IC champion. He's got Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom's looking.
He keeps saying that he doesn't have Naito.
He's got Naito at Wrestle Kingdom.
I know he's got Naito.
no match.
No match.
Just because you... Well, yeah, Naito came out and saved Evil from a post-match beatdown, and Naito was like, title match, and Jericho's like, fuck you. You're not getting it.
I've already made you famous. I made Evil famous. I made Kenny Omega famous.
He's taking full credit for Kenny Omega. It's great.
With this being said, Wrestle Kingdom for next year, it's not. I'm looking forward to it because of Wrestle Kingdom, and they generally really good. But there's things on here that I feel like I've seen or I don't want to see. It's weird.
I'm excited for every match, even if we've already seen it. It's been built. It's been built well.
Dude,
and that's what matters.
Juice and Okada, not Juice. Jay and Okada. This has been boiling for a while now. I'm pretty excited for that.
Is that your most anticipated match? Because mine's Omega Tanahashi, that main event. Easily.
That should be good too. But I'm very curious to see which way they go with Okada and Jay. I would probably give Okada the win, but somehow still keep the heat on Jay.
Okay.
What would you do? Would you do the same thing, or would you change it?
It's Wrestle Kingdom. I would give Jay all the heat he can get, and then Okada becomes the Rainmaker again. It is Wrestle Kingdom after all.
Indeed. But that makes me no longer get Balloon Okada, and what is Okada without his balloons?
He's a loser. All right, I gotta play this drop, and we got some wild WWE stuff to talk about. Where's my Becky Lynch drop? Where is that?
Are we only covering this week's dubs, or are we covering other dubs?
We're covering other stuff right fast.
Well, okay.
Uh-oh. Do I not have it? Oh boy.
Kaze Ninare.
AJ Styles then.
Well, that's timely.
It is timely when you think about it. So, AJ, WWE. Here we go. Okay, so right fast. I gotta find where that Becky Lynch drop went, because she is some hot shit right now. But, anyways, just a quick thought over NXT UK, because we're like 7 episodes in at this point. Wolfgang turned heel and joined the Coffee Bros, making a Scotland ICW type stable. So cool, but we don't give a shit about Wolfgang anyways. So the crowd didn't react to it really at all. So that kind of tells you all you need to know about how NXT UK is going in the first set of tapings that are out. So then I spring the question on you. Besides Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson, who are your other 2 to 3 guys you would have in the main event? Singles.
Well,
who would you build and establish?
Zach Gibson. Pete Dunne. 3 to 4.
I say Pete Dunne and Gibson because Gibson won the UK tournament and Pete Dunne's the champion. So I think that's pretty
You've got 7 and Bate already in a tag team. Freaking Banks is back, but they've already recorded some stuff. You could do something with Banks.
Banks would be one of my guys.
So that's 3. You need another 2.
Or just 1.
I don't know, man.
To me, it's Jordan Devlin, the Irish champion. That way you have the Liverpool guy and Zach Gibson. You have Pete Dunne. You have Banks, the Kiwi, and then you have the Ireland guy. That's heat. And Banks is a face in NXT UK, even though he's a heel everywhere else.
My issue with NXT UK, I don't want to watch it because it's progress with less balls.
It is coming across as a Progress / ICW PG version. So until they establish stories and rivalries and whatnot, because it's very much in its infancy. You know, there's been a couple good main event matches. The Danny Burch, Pete Dunne match comes in.
sorry, I'm just going to butt in here for a second. Like, SmackDown and Raw, if they try, they can have a good main event. Like,
Sure.
just because there's a good main event doesn't mean the show is good.
No, the show's coming across as a lot of filler right now.
The show's coming across as something they threw together within 5 minutes to get these guys off WOS wrestling.
Yeah. No, that's what NXT UK is, and a lot of this global expansion is to stop the indies.
Yeah, I can't wait for NXT Australia. Just because it's here, it doesn't mean I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I can't imagine how that would go down. I mean, NXT Germany is supposedly going to be a thing, and I'm like, wrestlers
they're
like
partnering with your WXW.
Yeah, they did.
Can't wait for that
see how that goes.
The WWE Network, the ICW on Progress.
I don't know what they do with countries that don't speak English, though. You know, what would they do with that?
I don't know.
It's so NXT UK. It has all the potential in the world, and right now it's coming across as just they don't know what to do with it at all. Everything's just like every single episode so far has just been here's a match and here's a guy, introduction, you've never seen him before. When the crowd is 50% those like Progress fans, they're trying to chant, they're being drowned out with their chants, and then the other half are WWE fans that don't know what the hell they're watching, and to them they're just watching a wrestling match. And it comes across as that. It's very disappointing to me. I'm very critical of it right now.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
That's not to say that there haven't been good matches on the show. Like I said, the Birch Dunn match is probably my takeaway from the first 6-7 weeks, which doesn't... I don't know. I like the Coffee Bros and how they're being booked. I like this Scotland stable. That's why I brought it up. So, on to NXT US is what I'm going to call it, USA. War Games is set what could be the event of the year for NXT. What match are you looking forward to?
War Games and Black and Gargano.
Black and Gargano is my match I'm looking forward to.
Now,
period.
To clarify here, War Games, I got a feeling I could get screwed over on, and for people who listen to our podcast will understand this, because I still don't feel comfortable with that stupid pick you made me do.
Well, you on the SmackDown podcast like your little predictions thing, and since you and Corey had all the same picks, there had to be stipulations to be made.
Well, I'm sorry,
had to be done.
but I'm gonna get screwed over here, and I can tell by picking who's gonna freaking War Games match.
Well, maybe you got to do your research and pick these things smarter next time. Lesson learned: get more smarky. Alrighty. So
on the Aleister Black and Gargano match, though, they've had a match before, which it was all right, it was decent, it was fine, but I'm curious to see what they do with Gargano being a heel, and I have a feeling that could be one of the matches that tears the roof down.
Well, it's like a double tweener match. I think the crowd will be split. It could be really good.
Should be really good.
For the crowd reaction. For the crowd reaction, I mean.
I could see Gargano going over.
I could as well. I don't want to, though. I'd rather have my boy Tommy N from WXW, a.k.a. Aleister Black, and NXT go over. So I'm going with the faithful here.
This is one of the harder matches to call, though, and like either one. But
yeah. So here's the question: we saw Nikki Cross have a cheap pop debut on SmackDown when they were in the UK. So instead of trying to highlight NXT UK while Raw and SmackDown were in the UK, like have Pete Dunne have a match or something, or have the Coffee Bros like take out a tag team or some shit. No, Nikki Cross from NXT gets a cheap pop, goes against Becky Lynch for seemingly no reason other than that cheap pop. And yeah, great for Nikki Cross. She's there, about fucking time for Sanity to be some sort of relevant.
She's still on NXT, guaranteed.
And that's literally all it was for. So, and Robert and I, when we were talking about Britt Baker against Madison Rayne in Ring of Honor, what is with wrestling companies and debuting like what could be major stars and having them lose in their first appearance?
Well, you see, the difference between the Britt Baker, Madison Rayne, and the Nikki Cross, Becky Lynch match is the fact that Becky Lynch is the man. No, I'm kidding. But, friggin', I'm fine with it because Becky's champion, and she had the booked match with Ronda, so you'd kind of want her going into that looking strong. And the fact that Nikki lost to a champion on, I'm guessing, probably not her actual call-up, it's fine. That's just my opinion.
See, I just think it's another case of cheap pop with no intentions of anything, and now you've ruined the debut.
Well, yeah, but you haven't. We'll see what happens probably after Survivor Series, because I don't see that as an actual call-up.
Knowing the history of what we're dealing with here, this is as high as she's going to reach.
Yeah, well, friggin' Dame was just back in ICW, wasn't he?
Yep. Yeah, a lot of the NXT UK guys and anyone who's been called up that's ICW related are all making appearances in ICW lately, so that's not a good sign. Can I change one of my
picks for like NXT UK Killing Dan?
It would be nice to see him there. That would be a good place for him.
But renaming Big Damo? Or leave him as Killian Dane, get him out of Sunday?
I can keep Killian Dane. I
don't
know.
He doesn't have to be part of Sunday for it, though. He can just be Killian Dane. I think he's making Big Damo.
Yeah. Alrighty. So on to Raw and SmackDown. Raw. Let's see. Jesus, where do we start? Alright, so Roman Reigns has leukemia. He's gone. And Lesnar's champ
back
again.
That far, are we? Okay.
Yep. It's been a while.
Alrighty, yeah. So
well, it's say been a while, but it's only been like 3 weeks.
It feels like so much longer.
So Lesnar's champ again. Who are your guys going forward? I want 4 names out of you. Who are the 4 guys you want at the top?
On a Raw?
You know, let's say
general.
Yes, Raw. Raw. Like let's say let's say there's an angle that Lesnar loses the title like tomorrow. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Who are your 4 guys at the top? Because I don't know about you, but Lesnar in WWE right now does nothing for me. I skip his matches. I don't watch him. I don't care because they all end or go about the same way, and I don't care about the finish.
Okay, is this current timeline, or can I go back to before Crown Jewel?
Current timeline.
Okay, well, all right. Let's go Seth, Dean, Drew, and I was going to say Braun, but no, stop it. I'll stick with Braun. There we go. Those 4.
Strowman. Yeah, those are the 4 that make sense. I have Rollins, McIntyre, Ambrose until Kevin Owens returns. So Ambrose is only a temp spot.
When that's going to be? Most likely Rumble through No Way Out. No Way Out, bloody elimination.
7. Yeah, Owens is out for a long time. That's why I said Ambrose until then.
Yeah, so
with the recent developments, it would make sense.
We've got the same people in by the sounds of it.
Well, I don't have Strowman at the top. I have Balor. Like, fucking A. Just put him at the top. But I am not stupid enough to just not admit that Balor isn't what WWE looks for. He would never be there. Like,
I completely forgot the Balor existed, if I'm completely honest with you.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how good he's been booked on a Raw.
Yeah, he's not being booked well. And then in other Raw news, Strowman took out the entire tag division, so we know what's going on there. They're even pre-show Survivor Series.
And then he made a deal with Stephanie in order to get his Constable Corbin and guaranteed a Universal title match.
Yeah, so if Raw doesn't win, then he doesn't get any of that.
No.
So they booked themselves kind of in...
No.
They were very strict on it that if Strowman doesn't lead the team to victory, then he doesn't get the deal.
No, I thought the deal was that if Strowman didn't... He's got to play nice. I didn't think that it was like he has to win.
No, he has to win.
Whatever.
Raw has to win.
Well, looking at the SmackDown team compared to the Raw team, like... Who's on the SmackDown team? I got Mysterio... The best in the world, Shane McMahon.
I don't know. They changed so much shit up on SmackDown. I don't.
Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy. Yeah, okay. So it's Jeff Hardy, Mysterio, Samoa Joe, The Miz, and the best in the world, Shane McMahon.
You got Lashley,
Ziggles, Drew, Balor, and Lashley.
Yeah, you got Lashley spreading ass in front of the crowd, so
Have you seen the Photoshop of that with freaking Leo Rush coming out of his ass?
I have seen that. That is, he's reached a new low. You know, I was holding out just a little hope. I was holding out a little bit. There was a sliver there, Jay.
For the badass from Impact?
The badass from Impact, but instead, he's spreading ass in front of the audience, and it was in that moment I went, he's done. Future endeavor. That's it. It's a matter of time. Like, that's what did it.
Dude. Oh, it's so good.
And then, let's see. And then the Becky Lynch invasion angle. We all knew an invasion angle was going to happen. It's the only thing in WWE's playbook. But somehow it managed to pull it together because of how crazy over Becky Lynch is as a character and who she is. The promos she's been cutting have been delivered very well. Ronda's doing some... She's 50-50. The promos are different. That's what matters.
No, she's running herself apparently with Heyman.
Her and Heyman, and it's... The recent one I saw on Twitter came across really weird. Something about millennials or something. It was odd.
Avocado toast or something.
I'd rather have that than I'm gonna beat you Sunday.
The funniest part about that whole thing is she's saying that like friggin' Becky's a millennial. Becky's like a month older than Ronda.
I thought it was a day.
It's something like that, but it's funny.
Yeah, they're like back to back. Anyways, so I haven't tuned into Raw in God knows how long.
Yeah. It's part
I think
of
I've watched
routine.
one. I watched one episode in 2018. That's what I've done.
Yeah, you see, I fall into
Raw 25.
I fall into the trap, dude, where it's like every Tuesday because I'm a day ahead of you guys. 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, depending on whether it's daylight savings there, here, or not. I always sit down, usually order a pizza, watch Raw, and usually fall asleep within like the second hour.
Sounds about right. Well, Twitter was going. My Monday night routine for a long time now has been to watch like an indie pay-per-view or something. You know, Noah Global League's been going on, so I've been kind of skimming through that. Maybe RPW show, you know, whatever it may be. And I have Twitter next to me, just in like real time. And I see on Twitter that Sasha Banks is facing Bayley in the main event of Raw, and there's 30 minutes left. And I went, oh, how will they fuck this up? I gotta watch this train wreck. Because I'm like, no way. Are they just gonna why would they give this feud away on for free on TV after just shitting the bed on the feud all year?
Why would only one of these be in the women's team?
Right. So I get to I find a stream because I don't have cable, so I have to find it alternative means. And I turn it on, I see it, and I go, okay, I'm getting my stopwatch out. I got this on clock. Here we go. Because they're not allowed to go overtime anymore on the USA Network. They have to stop at 11 o'clock p.m.
That was a nice change. That was a very nice change.
So it goes to they announce the match commercial, then they come back, start the clock. Because that's when I came in. 4 minutes go by, and Bayley and Banks proven that they have chemistry. I was like, okay, cool. We might be onto something here. Nope, commercial, 4 minutes. Like, okay. So I go fuddle around with other things. Go back to my Noah. Back from commercial. Here we go. The commercial was like 5 fucking minutes. It was longer than what we saw in the match. I'm like, what the fuck? 30 seconds pass. DQ. And I just went, they fucked it up. They couldn't even give us that. Because the stipulation was the winner would be on the team for Survivor Series.
Oh, I don't think it was just one person who got DQ'd. No, it was a double DQ.
It was a double DQ. They equally attacked them. So then Alexa Bliss just goes, my last teammate is Ruby Riott because fuck it. And we have Natalya on the team for seemingly no goddamn reason, even though Ruby Riott and Natalya are in the middle of a feud. So I don't know what the hell's happening.
So nothing on the main to warrant a spot on this team.
Nope, nothing. She broke the glasses of Neidhart because I'm surprised it took WWE this long to hop on a storyline of a dead legend. You know, it was like August. Oh, okay, they waited like 3 months. Cool. Yeah. So then it cuts to Becky Lynch being backstage and beating the shit out of Ronda, and I was like, yes, oh my god, something interesting. And then she's coming down, like her music hits, she's coming down the ramp, there's the whole Survivor Series team in the ring, and here I'm thinking like she's going to grab a steel chair Stone Cold style and take them all out, and SmackDown Women's Champ reigns supreme. Nope, invasion angle. And in the middle of the angle, Nia Jax shoot punches Becky Lynch and breaks her face and nose and eye. And
it was like, a pumpkin, it wasn't a potato. It was a pumpkin.
She wailed back. You know, it's Nia Jax strikes again moment, much like Brie Bella being rusty in the ring moment kind of deal.
Well, Nia is not like most girls. I don't know if you've heard
She's
this.
not like most girls. She shoot punches champions. Like, good God. What was this, what was this, ECW 1996 all over again type shit?
ECW. And then Becky gets up, dude, and her face is bloody as...
Her face is just a crimson mask of her blood, but spewed across where it's all nasty. Her arms are covered in blood, just wiping and she's just keeping with it. She's striking Ronda with a chair. She escapes into the crowd. Apparently her blood was everywhere so bad that at one point Lana and Dana Brooke were fighting outside the ring, and the camera showed like Dana had blood all over her, and Lana's just like, oh my god, are you okay? She was calling a ref over, but it looked like Lana was kind of fake punching the air in front of her.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. So that was like, oh my god, that's how bad Becky Lynch was bleeding. And so Becky escapes to the crowd. Great fucking camera shot of her just being a badass. She's selling it. Becky Lynch has inverted elbows. Did you know that? Well, we know now.
I do now.
Yeah. And then, of course, it comes out that Becky Lynch has got a severe concussion, like possible orbital damage, and a broken nose. So that's the broken face type thing. You can't just list off all she got nailed, shoot punched. I don't know what's the deal is. So that match is off, replaced with, cut the SmackDown, replaced with Charlotte Flair because, you know, fuck the last 3 months of feuding, right?
Yeah, Becky got to pick her replacement, and then they hugged it out.
And they hugged it out. So
Becky's a face again. How does that make you feel?
They absolutely ruined all the character work between the two, and the feud that built over the last 3 months, plus all the summer of.
Go ahead.
All that. It's awful. They're ruining their own storylines.
They could have done this in a way where it's like, you kick her ass or I'm going to kick yours. Again.
Or have Paige pick it. Why does it have... That's what the GM is fucking for.
Yeah. I don't know. The show
Paige gets in Charlotte's face. Pull your fucking shit together. You're the ex-champion. You're taking on Ronda.
So go prove that... Who's the final woman on the SmackDown team? So
it's probably going to be Mandy Rose.
Gross.
Yeah, the fans wanted Asuka to take on Ronda. That much was clear. And
I wanted Asuka to take on Ronda.
Well, if you wanted Asuka to be immediately relevant again, that's how you do it.
Indeed.
With the right booking. Yeah, but they didn't do that. Or that's how you push a star.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the thing is too, like, Becky, she could have
How fucking funny would it have been if Carmella was picked to go against Ronda?
Like, looking at those, like, the whole SmackDown women's roster, dude, like, there are 3 people on there that, like, I could genuinely look at as a threat to Ronda, like Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka. Like, maybe not Asuka now, but like earlier this year. I would rather watch an Asuka versus Ronda match than a Charlotte versus Ronda match.
Well, you know, the big rumor was Charlotte against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, and this has turned into, well, it simmered down because a lot of the controversy coming out of Charlotte Flair and the racism and whatnot. But regardless of that, the rumored WrestleMania match is now just being thrown together for a nothing, no stakes Survivor Series match, much in the same realm that the Balor Styles match was when Wyatt got injured shortly before the pay-per-view. That's what this reminds me of. It's just thrown together. Good match or not, you've now wasted the first, wasted the hype, and there's no build.
Yeah.
So all we can now hope for is they'll have a decent match. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, subject to wasting the build and crap, how's about Daniel versus Brock?
Yeah, so
The frig happened
Daniel,
here?
Well, WWE's having a stroke because of the Roman Reigns situation. So we've seen how many face heel turns in the past 3 weeks? I've lost count. I can't keep track of it.
Yeah, a lot.
There's been so many, Jay, that I don't react to them. I just go, okay, I guess they're heel now, or okay, I guess they're face.
I don't understand this. Like, I was sick of... Okay, I will be the first to admit, I was kind of done with AJ's title run. But this wasn't the way to do it. Like, just out of the way on a random episode of SmackDown. Like, this wasn't the way to do it.
No. In days before a pay-per-view. This is like WCW 2000 level of booking.
Like,
it's shock value for the sake of shock and to get ratings.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
I mean, AJ and Brock had a decent match last year. I was down for another one. I knew that AJ wasn't going to win, but like...
it all depends on Brock.
Yeah.
It all depends on Brock. It always does. And with what we've seen over the last... 10 months of Lesnar? Who are we to guarantee that it would have been good? It could have just been he goes out, does 5 F5s, elbows Styles really hard, match over. Could have easily been that.
Sure,
It could easily be that against Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan's the new WWE champion. So
congratulations,
let's build.
Carter is new champ.
I have to build this up a little bit, because last week there was, out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan is getting mad at the team for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Comes off as a madman. I don't get it. Then this week he just goes. Heyman shows up on SmackDown, cuts a promo with Styles, and Styles is essentially talking up after Heyman brings up Daniel Bryan that he beat Daniel Bryan, the best guy in the business, and he made him tap out. So Brock, beware. And then Daniel Bryan comes out and goes, "Don't say my name. Don't talk about." Yeah, don't say my name. Don't talk about me like that. And AJ Styles is like, what the hell's your problem? Okay. And he says his name, and then they fight back. Yeah, and then they fight, and then Shane McMahon, for no reason, just goes, title match tonight. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This is all on Twitter. That's what I'm seeing.
What the frig happened on this episode of SmackDown, dude? Like, I don't understand it. Like, as you said, WCW circa 2001-2000, but like, it just came out of left field, and like I said, it's not the way to have ended AJ's run.
No, so AJ's had the title for a year. Daniel Bryan, over a year. Daniel Bryan should have had a monumental comeback. They did nothing with it, other than his biggest feud was with Big Cass, and you can fight on that. The hype for the Miz match was there, but it was immediately overshadowed by reality TV.
I see what you did there. His biggest match was Big Cass.
Well, it wasn't a pun on purpose, but that was his biggest program because there was promos and the like. And I do put that over the Miz Bryan feud because Miz Bryan became a reality TV show plug.
Have you seen Big Cass these days? He's definitely big, all right.
Yeah, he gained some weight. So, title match, Daniel Bryan. There's a ref bump. Daniel Bryan kicks AJ Styles in the testicles.
Okay. This is my first problem with this match. AJ has balls of steel because Nakamura hit him a bunch this year, and it didn't seem to affect AJ at all.
So this is bad in so many ways. It's clearly shock value for the sake of shock value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Daniel Bryan coming back from injury should have been an easy sell and booking. Instead, they made him just like everyone else, a marginalized wrestler. So then when this heel turn happens, what is your reaction? You're like, okay, we get Daniel Bryan heel now. I guess.
Yeah. Haven't had that since 2010, 2012, something like that.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson. I've seen the American Dragon heel. He could pull it off. Don't get me wrong.
My issue though, it's because this wasn't the right way to end the title run.
On
Daniel
free
essentially,
TV?
yeah. Daniel
Jeez.
essentially to me is a mid carder, and I get it. They're getting more money for TV than pay per views starting like next year, but it's just it was handled not right.
Well, then don't do pay-per-views anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Do it like what Impact's doing, where every month or so they have a special TV episode. Then that's what they build to.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm just kind of deflated on WWE at the moment. I have been for a while.
This is, it's definitely worth talking about because of how just crazy it is. Like, I'm not mad. I'm laughing. I'm rolling on the floor laughing when I was seeing all this because it's really a spit in the face to Styles fans and Styles' run. Yeah, it was. I've said this on the cast before. Styles' run with the title.
It hasn't been
at least
great.
he made it. At least he made it prestigious. First of all,
he did, but it hasn't been a good run.
It hasn't been a good run because they seemingly could only book Styles in DQ finishes, fuck finishes, and even to the end, he gets kicked in the nuts and loses the title.
Yeah,
and your top baby, arguably your top baby face in the company, Jay, turns heel.
Yeah. This whole situation here is essentially summed up AJ's title run.
Unbelievable.
Who's he feuded with his title, right? It's been, what, friggin' Mahal, Nakamura for like 6 months.
Who was after Mahal?
Nakamura, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Kevin Owens.
Was it? I
and that. Yeah, and that was shenanigans.
Oh, it was him
so
and
it was,
Zayn. That's right.
Yeah. So it was Mahal, and that was shenanigans with the Singh brothers. Then it was
KO and
Zayn and Owens, which was fuck finishes and shenanigans. Then it was Shinsuke, which had the Mania match, which was
not
fine.
Good. It was fine,
but then it ended with but then it became the dick kick fest. So they ruined that.
And then we had Joe breaking into his house and telling bedtime stories.
Right. So that was the best one. And then we end with Bryan kicking him in the nuts and taking the title.
If we were going to end this with
bizarre,
just give it to freaking Nakamura.
Well, see, that's the problem. And I was discussing with Matt via group chat Twitter, and he's the one that does the Union Smack podcast. A lot of Smack podcasts out there. Union Smack. Yeah. He's with Travis Hibiki. So and he was of the same mind, and we're both just going back and forth, going, yeah, this is nonsense. Makes no sense. It's WCW type shit. I don't pretend to understand the logic. It's just I'm getting beer and pizza this weekend and watching the train crash.
Really? I'm watching NXT TakeOver, and then probably I think I'm going on the Strap podcast.
Well, good plug there. What was I going to say?
Sorry, I don't know if I should have said that or not, like on your show, but my bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Plug away, man. You're definitely saving my ass in this one. So then, last but not least, with Bryan winning the way it does, it only makes everyone who failed before him look so bad.
Yeah, like I said, if you were going to give the title away with a dick shot, Nakamura should have won it.
Ugh.
Also, dude, it's kind of funny to think that, like, earlier today, that 3 champions in WWE at this current point in time on the main roster have all been former IWGP Heavyweight Champions. Because you had Lesnar, you had Nakamura, Styles.
Yeah, I'd like to prefer to forget about the Lesnar Japan title reign. That was a disaster.
Now, with all this being said, though, like, Survivor Series has 2 or 3 matches on there that are intriguing me more than me being interested in them.
Okay, which are?
I want to see. I know that it's going to end, but I want to see the chemistry that Nakamura and Seth have.
Okay, well, Seth Rollins already cut a promo saying he doesn't care about it.
That's true. And Nakamura said it broke his heart, which was pretty hilarious. Welcome to the United States of Nakamerica.
Poor Shinsuke.
Poor Shinsuke, indeed. I was more interested in Becky versus Ronda, but I mean, Charlotte Ronda should be alright. It should be fine. And I kind of want to see if Daniel gets injured or not.
That's what I'm most... Immediately when Daniel won that title, I just went, uh-oh. He's going to face Brock Neck Lesnar.
Daniel comes out on SmackDown next week and has to retire again.
Oh, that wouldn't be funny. It's very worrisome.
It'd be kind of
I don't know
funny.
what they're going to do in that match.
Neither do I.
I don't know.
It's really weird. And the fun...
Are they just going to fucking shoot elbow his head and just call it good?
Who's the heel in that match?
I don't know.
Because Daniel turned heel. Daniel turned heel.
Yeah, now you have heel versus heel. Because even I've seen heel versus heel in Europe plenty of times, but
heel versus heel in New Japan.
There needs to be a build between them to work. Like Bobby Gunn's Absolute Andy. They're Absolute Andy is saying, I'm going to get the better of you, and Bobby Guns is like, well, not if I cheat first kind of shit. And I'm like, okay.
The King of Smoke
But
style.
there's no build. There's no build for this.
The build
Zero.
is that Daniel won the title, and he gets to fight Brock and get a concussion.
Unbelievable. Oh, crazy.
And the funny thing about this is, dude, this won't even be the main event. It's most likely not going to be the main event.
Yeah, it's most likely going to be the 5-on-5 men's match, which the whole premise of that is so Stephanie and Shane can brag about it to each other. And what do we give a shit what they brag about?
Yeah.
Strowman already said he didn't care. He's only doing it for himself.
He's only doing it to beat up friggin' Baron. I'm assuming that time he's going to Rumble.
Yeah, well. Anyways, I want to talk about WCW now. What a crazy thing, and then we can get out of here.
Sure thing, dude. Sure thing.
Oh, boy.
What are we up to? Episode 17?
11.
11. I assume 17 because your show is up to number 17 at the Retrocast.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, it should. It
All right,
so much easier.
playing the drop before I have a stroke myself from all this wacky booking going on. Okay. Good God. Running long, but a lot to discuss.
How long have I been recording for?
2.5.
Jesus Christ. It feels like so much shorter than that.
WCW Thunder, Episode 11, March 19th, 1998. Immediate recap of Nitro, where Sting drops from a fucking helicopter over an open arena into the ring with a pool next to it. How fucking cool is that?
First question. How high was the drop? Second question. Did it look as awesome as it sounds?
It did. It was fucking cool.
How high up was he?
It was over the arena, and he tethered down, so it was pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is he
a
still
lot of Sting being tethered from the sky.
Is he still champion?
Yes, he's still champion. So, commentary talks about the fallout from Uncensored, and on Nitro, where Macho Man wants to become world champ to prove he runs the NWO.
Yeah, well, I mean, him and...
Well...
did something.
You were there, Jay.
I did.
What the fuck was that cage match at Uncensored for then?
They did something in a cage.
That whole stipulation at Uncensored was, I want to run the NWO, and now they're cutting promos like, well, I want to do it. You should have fucking solved it at Uncensored anyways.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake showed up. We had this conversation last time.
Yeah. No, we don't know who his name is yet. Shut up. Shush. Well, okay. Well, they respond to this promo by they booked at Spring Stampede Savage versus Sting for the title. So
my money is on Savage.
Hooray! And then correction from the last cast: Jericho did have different theme music in '98. Yeah, you were right. So I totally forgot.
Did it sound good?
Yeah, it was fine. It sounds pretty similar, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't like
Just
the fact
not.
that WWE.
It's like the same, but without the words.
Yeah, WWE like just overdub crap and it's annoying.
Yeah, I didn't know they did that.
Didn't you? Yeah,
Didn't know they did that.
A really good example of this, I'm sure it's been overdubbed, but like go back and watch just some old ECW TV with Sandman. I'm sure he's not going to come out to Sandman.
Probably not. It's copyright strike. All right, Cruiserweight title match. Super Callow versus Jericho, whom takes being everyone's role model very seriously.
I love Jericho. Even back then, he's a dick.
Yeah. Crowd was insane for Jericho. Just super hot. Good opening 5-minute match. Jericho wins it. Crowd hates it. Simple enough. Yeah. Cuts to the next match of El Dandy versus Kendall Windham.
Okay.
Mr. Counterfeit Money himself.
Is Kendall Windham related to Barry Windham?
Yes.
And who's the other guy?
El Dandy, he's like... he is a Mexican luchador who was insanely smooth and technical in the ring. Bret Hart actually came out... I believe this was a program later where Bret Hart said El Dandy was like the best wrestler in WCW next to himself. And that became a big push for the guy. But El Dandy was really good. He was very good and well known in Mexico.
Okie dokie.
And for good reason. He was very good in the ring. But regardless, the match didn't have much going for it. Too bad for El Dandy. He got beat pretty fast in straightforward fashion here with Kendall Windham, being from the Windham family and a big bald dude. So,
gotcha.
Cuts to Tony Schiavone interviewing with Kurt Hennig and Ravishing Rick Rude. They bragged about beating the shit out of Bret Hart, even though they lost the match at Uncensored. So they kind of sold it well, though, saying they went there to beat Bret Hart down, not necessarily win the match. So good trash talking, just good promo. They're bragging, they're just kicking the crowd while they're down, cocky about their match with Rick Steiner coming up. So good promo, good stuff. Next match, La Parka versus Perry Goddamn Saturn. So Chairman against Psycho with a broom. He doesn't have the broom here, though. Or no, the mop.
La
the mop
Parka
is WWF later.
La Parka is still around.
He is. He's an MLW. I think he's the tag champ there, actually.
He was also in AAA earlier this year. Or was that La Parka? Oh, I freaking know the difference.
Same guy.
I don't know.
The same guy.
What's yours said La Parka, and like they're all the same dude, right?
So when LA Park left AAA, they got a replacement because the character was so popular. They got a replacement to take his like persona, so they called him La Parka, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he came back to AAA, so he's LA Park, and then he has a son who's El Hijo de la Park.
Okay, so who's the fat dude?
That's WCW.
Okay, so who's the one that had the thing at Triple Mania this year?
WCW.
Who the frig's the other dude?
The replacement.
And what does he look like? Don't say La Parka because I will not be happy.
He's the skinnier. He's just skinnier. And he's more mobile.
Okay.
So, I didn't know whether to hate or like this match because of who was involved. Lodi's sign ringside says Rings of Saturn and has Kilroy was here painted on his body. So, some 90s references for you.
Okay.
Crowd pops for La Parka jumping off the turnbuckles to the outside, takes out both Lodi and Saturn. I popped for that too. It was good stuff. La Parka gets drop kicked from his own chair and then taps out to the Rings of Saturn. So, unhappy face from this guy.
You like
I hate
La Parka?
Saturn. I hate Saturn.
Okay, so it's
so
not
much.
the fact that you like La Parka, it's the fact that you...
Well, La Parka's definitely grown on me a lot more. So, rewatching all these old episodes, I was like, man, I can see why this guy is so popular.
You're not ready for his match
So
next year
lovable.
against Dr. Wagner, did you know?
He's not doing it. So, then we get to the most 90s segment I have seen in a long time. It is Diamond Dallas Page on MVP with Raven doing a promo on a big CRT TV with camera angles and neon colors and shit, and he's blaming the system. You know, what about Raven? What about me? So it's very fucking 90s. So good. And then DDP, like, after Raven cuts his little promo, DDP says, yeah, Raven, you got banged at Uncensored. It's like, my God. And then out of nowhere, Raven casually walks behind DDP as he's on a couch at the MTV place, and he just cracks him over the head with a giant stop sign. And then he DDTs him through a coffee table. Oh yeah, and you hear all the MTV guys like kind of popping and laughing in the background. It's really funny. So he DDTs DDP through a coffee table, and then he steals the U.S. title. Yeah, super 90s.
Was it a glass table?
No, it was a coffee, like a wooden, little tiny coffee table. It's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about
Raven? What about Raven? What about him? The next match is Barry Darsow. Do you remember the name?
Darsow.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I feel like I should.
I shall refresh. Have you ever heard of the tag team Demolition?
Yes, I have.
Do you know the name Repo Man?
Dude. I know Repo Man.
Well, this is him. This is Smash from Demolition and Repo Man. Yep. This is Barry Darsow. Good NWA type dude. He was face off against Ray Traylor. Other people might know him as Big Boss Man. This match was so NWA.
The dude who stole Big Show's dad.
Yeah.
And they got hung in hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on the coffin, and that's yeah. So this match was very NWA style, Jay. Okay. So it's not bad. Guys were doing fine, but the crowd could not care less.
So, dude, if it's NWA style, do they get DQ by throwing the rope?
No, but it usually ends just kind of out of nowhere off like a basic move kind of deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a good example of the times have left those guys behind. Sad to say. Like, you have to be kind of a purist, I would say. Is that the right word I want to use? For this cast, I will. Yeah. So, before Yuji Nagata versus Prince Iaukea, they announced Piper will be on the following Nitro, and he has a big announcement to make. Oh yeah, and the match was going on, of Yuji Nagata and Prince Iaukea.
I feel like I know both of those guys. I think I do.
Well, Yuji Nagata you should 1,000% know because you're a New Japan fan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know that guy, but I'm pretty sure I think I know the other one.
Mr. Blue Justice himself. And Prince Iaukea, he was a very good high-flying wrestler, got some pops. I don't remember what his other ring names he went by were. I know he changed them a couple times. Well, it's not worth going into right now. Point is, Piper has a big announcement. This match was going on. The crowd were booing during the match the whole time and chanting USA for seemingly no reason. That was kind of odd. I think it's just because of Sonny Ono being there. I do like Sonny Ono coming out with the disposable camera and taking selfies with it. I do like that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, good match, but then for no reason at the end, while Nagata was in control of the match, Sonny Ono gets on the apron and distracts the ref, and then accidentally kicks Nagata off and cost him the match.
Okay.
Very odd stuff. It made no sense booking-wise to how this match ended. So, I was pretty disappointed in that. Recap basically the entire Nash Giant match from Uncensored, then to Nitro, where Kevin Nash was the this I remember this growing up too. This is where Kevin Nash on Nitro he's poolside and Giant's coming after him and he's got his fanny pack on and everything, and he goes, "Well, you'll never catch me because I was the 1998 Cannonball champion of Spring Break," and he jumps into the pool. Fucking stupid. I do remember that Nitro growing up because it's still stuck with me this day. It's such a line. All right, next match. Bryan Adams, a.k.a. Crush, against Marty Jannetty. And this is where I asked myself, and on Twitter, is Chad Gable the Marty Jannetty of WWE?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. Poor Marty. He didn't stand a chance in this match. Moving on. Poor Marty seems to be a theme of this cast.
Dude, just remember though, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are team captains for Raw.
Yeah, it means nothing on the pre-show, and it means nothing.
Chad
overall.
Gable is also former tag team champion. But he did have a Kurt Angle's son, so it's fine.
NXT.
SmackDown.
Were they? Oh god, I don't even remember. It's so irrelevant.
Yeah, they beat the Wyatt family. Well, they lost them to the Wyatts. I think they beat the Wyatts. During the whole like Viper and the family freaking storyline.
To probably the best match on the card of the night is Psychosis versus Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero.
Crowd hot booing Eddie. Crazy corkscrew moonsault to the floor, the outside by Psychosis. High paced. Eddie wins via frog splash.
Was
like,
Chavo
I make
that?
it. I don't remember. Not in my notes.
But
I assume he
Chavo
was because it's
had
playing
to
off.
Eddie's
Playing off of.
pitch.
Yeah, it's playing off the stip they had.
Yeah.
So, make the match sound really simple, but as was a lot of matches in the 90s and even early 2000s, matches didn't go long. They saved those for the pay-per-views, which I kind of appreciate, really.
Interesting.
Like, they get all their moves in, you get to know who's better, you get to see their finishers, establish who they are. Gives more time for character work, that kind of deal, where it's needed. And you get more matches on the card that way. You get to see more talent.
But I thought Thunder was the show with matches, and Nitro was like NWO all over the place.
Yeah, that's what it became.
Yeah.
Raven versus Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong being a guy that we covered on a Wrestling Spotlight not too long ago.
Cool.
But anyways,
But what
Flock
about
hits the
Raven?
ring before the match. Yeah, what about Raven? We're going to find out. The Flock hits the ring before the match even starts.
Who was the
Is
Flock at
Brad
this point?
Armstrong the Kurt Hawkins of WCW?
Probably. Who was in the Flock?
Lodi, Saturn, Billy Kidman, Sick Boy. Probably names you don't recognize.
Just remember, dude, if at any doubt in your career, and you think, like while podcasting, that Hulk Hogan never put anybody over, he put over Billy Kidman. Did you know that? Billy Kidman has 3 clean pinfall victories over Hulk Hogan with the shooting star press.
So random.
It is.
Alrighty. By the way, we haven't seen the tag titles in weeks.
I think I pointed that out last time and I haven't been here.
Well, when I was watching this, it dawned on me, and then you brought it up later, and I was like, yeah, I was just thinking about that myself. Because we hadn't seen it uncensored.
They get defended at Spring Stampede.
I guess we'll see. But we haven't seen the tag titles since the Scott Steiner heel turn on Rick Steiner at Starrcade? Was it Starrcade?
Was that
Fuck, I don't...
Or uncensored? You tell me. No,
Shit.
I don't work
I'm
here.
getting my
This is your
pay-per-views
job.
mixed up. The point is we haven't seen the tag titles since the Scott Steiner heel turn. So Scott Norton versus Vincent, or with Vincent versus Chris Benoit. The mullets are very strong in this match. Jay.
Wait, stop.
Okay.
When did Vincent / Virgil ever do anything?
He interfered in matches all the time. What are you talking about?
Yes, but have you ever seen him at a convention with all his fans?
Oh, well.
I don't think
So,
Chris Benoit had a mullet, did he?
oh yeah, Chris Benoit had a heavy mullet.
Hmm.
And so did Scott Norton. What I really liked in this match was commentary referenced their rivalry when they were in New Japan Wrestling.
Pegasus Kid.
Yeah. But it was still pretty one-sided for Norton doing a lot of the damage. But then it did build up to Benoit eventually hitting a German suplex into a diving headbutt to a crossface, So it was a good little big guy getting the little guy over type situation here.
So you look at like Benoit's moveset, right? And you wonder, like, it's pretty obvious why he had problems.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Honma in New Japan. He was doing fucking diving headbutts from the outside to the floor.
It's the same thing with friggin' Shibata.
Yeah, the shoot headbutts. Like, it all... Don't do headbutts!
Yeah.
Fucking guys in Noah still do that shit. It irritates me. So there was an interference by Vincent in this match, and it led to a Norton shoulder breaker, and he beats Benoit. So there you go.
Cool.
Then we got Wayne Bloom, one half of the Beverly Brothers. Do you recognize this name?
The Beverly Brothers or Bloom?
Either or.
It's a Matt Bloom?
No, but the fact you're questioning yourself means he's facing Goldberg, who is 55-0 at this point. Over inside 2 minutes as usual. Crowd is insane. Moving on.
No, the Beverly Brothers is a better question.
Beverly Brothers were kind of they were an old school tag team, basically.
He got fed to Goldberg. Let's move on.
He got fed to Goldberg. End of story there. Kurt Hennig with Ravaging Rick Rude versus Rick Steiner with Ted DiBiase in his corner. This was your main event of the evening.
It sure was.
Doesn't really sound like a main event type situation, does it?
Not really.
But we're gearing more towards the B show situation here. We're away from, the Hulk Hogan Bischoff segments. We're away from NWO.
Was Bischoff NWO at this
heavy
point?
Stuff. Bischoff was, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is your main event: Hennig versus Steiner with their respective lackeys ringside. Just a quick DQ by Rick Rude, just right away, essentially. Crowd really popped for DiBiase getting in the ring, which was quite surprising.
Wait,
but he was quickly
with?
Rick Steiner.
Wait, I thought the DiBiase was friggin' NWO change.
No.
But he was the the person that paid for the NWO, wasn't he?
Well, in time. Yeah. He still had his own little faction here. So the crowd really popped for DiBiase getting in the ring. I even got some myself. I was like, holy shit, he threw a punch. The crowd went crazy. Then seemingly the entire NWO hits the ring, as one does in the 90s.
I'm guessing minus like Hogan and Savage and whatnot. Yep.
Yeah. Just beats the shit out of Rick and DiBiase and Ray Traylor, who came out to try. Good job. But then Goldberg hits the ring and spears just everybody, all the NWO, and then just walks out by himself. The crowd is going fucking crazy. Rick Steiner, DiBiase, and Traylor get control again, and they're standing in the ring while Goldberg walked out.
Trailer.
Just a weird, Trailer.
Just
a weird fucking ending. So this was the start to Goldberg being just a monster and starting to take things into his own hands.
Excellent. Who was Trailer?
That was the start. Big Boss Man.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that was episode 11 of Thunder. Just a B show. It ended well for Goldberg. I liked the Psychosis Guerrero match. I loved the DDP MTV segment. That was just nonsensical fun.
But what about Raven? Did you love Raven?
I loved Raven. And he's got the U.S. title. So.
Well, sort of.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of, kind of. And that's it. That wraps us up. I will put out the wrestler rankings on Twitter. I'll just go over who got first and second for each one. Jericho, Pete Dunne in WWE.
Okay, no mind.
Zack Sabre Jr. and Evil in New Japan. Walter and A-Kid for the Indies. And Momo Watanabe and Tsukasa Fujimoto for the women. So there's your top two.
Spoiler alert, I was going to say Walter was on top for the Indies. And probably on top of everything, if you think about it.
You know what? Just for this cast, I'll go over the overall top 10. I haven't done that before. I usually save that for Twitter. Three-way tie for 10th at 53 points. Tanahashi, Young Bucks, and Minoru Suzuki.
Hey.
9th is Ishii at 56,
Mm-hmm.
tied with Kento Miyahara of All Japan. 6th is Jay Lethal at 67.
Surprised he's not higher.
5th. Oh, well, I mean, that's a... I'm surprised he's still in the top 10. It's because he had that crazy awesome feud with Jonathan Gresham with great matches. And he stayed in the main event in Ring of Honor. So he's maintained. Kazuchika Okada is number 5 with 73. Omega is number 4 with 79. Tied for third place with Zack Sabre Jr. at 79. So we got a fight to the finish here. Ospreay has 86, which will be very interesting, being that he's injured. And Walter's leading the pack with 96 points. So pretty cool stuff. Exposure has a lot to do with it. If you're in more matches, you have more chances to put on a great match and able to build more feuds elsewhere kind of deal.
Well, Walter is everywhere, so, you know.
He's been everywhere this year. That's why, I mean, it's whether it's OTT, Progress, WXW, RPW, Evolve against Adam Cole, which I got to see. Like, there's a reason why he's number 1 this year. And Ospreay and Sabre are in the same boat. They've been everywhere. Sabre won the New Japan Cup and had a good G1 showing, for Christ's sake.
What did you think
he won
of,
Super Strong Style 16 as well.
He did. What did you think of Ospreay versus Volta from Defiant?
It was pretty good. Their OTT match was even better.
Yeah, but the Defiant one happened first.
It did.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Just
the
saying.
OTT match is also free on YouTube now, by the way.
Cool. I've got to get around to
I highly recommend.
I've got to get around to watching freaking Refuse to Lose, I think it is, because it's got Klinger versus Rampage.
Oh, for the title?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Bad Bones himself.
Bad Bones.
I wonder when he's going to come back to WXW. I haven't seen him since April, I want to say.
You still think that's a work? It may not be.
Supposedly it's a work.
Yeah, that just
supposedly it's a work.
You're hoping it's a work.
I am, because he was a major player in the company. But him leaving has laid the groundwork to push new stars.
Yeah. I'm tipping Rampage is going to retain.
Yeah, probably. So this has been a long episode 17. There was a lot to cover, a lot to discuss. Don't forget about our ongoing contest. Leave a review on iTunes, Stitcher, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Podbean, screenshot that shit, send it my way at BowlingJD, or use the hashtag RedleafRetrocast, and you'll be entered in the contest to pick, essentially, an episode topic of your choosing, with all the shoutouts included for a month. So how about that? Jay, thank you for joining me on this real long one. It's been a gas. We've had a lot to talk about and discuss.
We have. We went a lot longer than I thought we were going to, but it's absolutely fine.
Me too.
I'm glad to help you out, bro.
Oh, I love having you on. And audience, if you love having Jay on, let him know at Smack It Down Podcast. Definitely go check that out.
Don't tweet me that.
Amazing stuff.
Don't tweet me
and
at
follow him. No, the podcast. Go download the podcast, and then follow him on Twitter at VivaLaJD. Everything's in the description of the episode, as usual. So, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.